Okay. Yeah. We've just started. We've just gone live. I know it's about 4 p.m. Eastern. It is about 9 p.m. here in the UK, and we've got Markell Riley here, waiting for Aqil to join from the legendary group Rex and Effect.
Yes, yes, yes,
And you were
yes,
telling us that you just came back from the motherland.
yes, yes, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much. I'm just sad that I came home sick, but
Yeah,
it was worth the experience.
yeah, and just the thing. I mean, I've been doing some research and thinking about, and I found out that ancient Egypt, they would look more like they were from Somalia or Ethiopia. That was the sort of pharaohs and stuff. That was their complexion. But
Yes,
yeah, so
yes.
it,
I
it
I went to one of their museums, and you know how they have those videos where how they show how to how they form their face, skin, and
yeah,
eyes, and all that. And they was fierce. They was dark skinned. It was probably my complexion, a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going live. Colin, welcome. Derek out of Minneapolis, welcome. So tonight, go get your questions for Rex and Effect. Markel is here already, so any questions you may have, you can fire them away, and I'll get the. I'll actually put on the chat so that at least everyone can get to see and be able to appreciate
That's great.
when people are sending their questions in. Yeah. So as I said, any questions for Markel? He is here to.
Shake, baby, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, since the last interview that we had, have you given any thoughts about back on the stage and stuff like that, or does it feel like a world away?
Nah, no, 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 no. Well, we're doing shows with Teddy, as well as while he's promoting his book. But yeah, no, we gonna get back on stage. We're gonna get back on stage, most definitely.
Oh, okay. Ezekiel, welcome. James, welcome. Yeah, any questions for Arkell? And Arkell, when he gets in, just shoot them in. He's looking at the chat. Yeah, but I guess going back, when I looked at the performance you guys did of New Jack Swing at the Apollo, and I saw Brandon dancing, Akil rapping, and I was looking for you, and I saw you at the back as the
I
DJ.
Yeah, I told you I was a DJ at one time. Now they brought me up to the forefront. Yeah.
Okay, what you read? Okay, here's a question from Colin. Quick question: did you guys have beef with Jodeci as you both mentioned each other in each other's songs?
No, Joe. I mean, honestly, Jodeci's was like our brothers. To be honest with you, I remember meeting them at a Mike Tyson fight in Vegas.
Hmm.
I think it was either '89. This is actually before they actually came out, but Devontae was producing, acts at the time. So no, we never. Only alleged beef that we ever had was with Tribe Called Quest.
Oh,
And that was just a misunderstanding, man. And it got bigger than it was supposed to be because our friends are so well protected over us that they didn't know what was going on. Like we was doing a show at Radio City Music Hall.
hmm.
They came backstage to talk to us about what was going on, and it was like a 15 minute. I mean, not a 20 minute, 30 minute conversation. And what's up, Art?
What up, y'all?
Yeah,
Okay.
Hey,
and it
man.
was like,
Yeah,
yo, everything is good. It ain't no problems. But being that our friends wasn't out, I mean, backstage with us, they don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
So they see them walking in the audience, and the melee happened. So yeah, I was telling them about the. He was asking if we had beef with Jodeci, and I told him no.
No, I never heard that before.
Yeah, I never heard that before
No,
either. And I
because
spoke.
you mentioned let's stay like Jodeci, just be like Jodeci and stay a while on what track was that?
Uh,
Let's stay like Jodeci at the Rec Shop. I think it was on Rec Shop.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why they asked if because, and I think Jodeci says
oh, that was
Jodeci
more of a
might.
compliment. That was more of like
Yeah.
a shouting them out. You
Mm,
know,
And
Yeah,
they
I was just referring to their song "Stay." You know,
yeah, yeah.
and
yeah.
they
that's it.
complimented you on let's go through the motions. I think there was just like a it seemed more complimentary to me, but
Well, I mean,
Maybe
I,
play
I
on
don't, I don't.
words. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah, as I said, guys, so they are here both live. So um any questions that you might have, what's that? This Keith Harrison, my big brothers.
what's going on, Keith?
Eh,
What up, Keith?
yeah. Um New Pack is saying, did you ever record any tracks with Heavy D?
Mm,
Mm,
I don't think we. I think it's a track
nah.
that we. No, I think it's a track that
Mm-mm.
we had, or we both were supposed to, and he wound up getting it or something like that. But other than that, no, we never
Yeah,
did
we
a
never
song.
we never recorded. We never recorded together.
I wish
You
we
know,
did though.
in the studio at times together, but never.
Yeah,
We never actually recorded anything.
it
Okay.
would have made sense, right? You did have that one track you mentioned in one of the other interviews. There was the Heavy D version of Soul Train, that Soul Train track, and then there was your version of
Hmm
Soul
hmm
Train. And
hmm
then there was We Got Our Own Thing was meant to be a Rex track, and then it ended up being a Heavy D and the Boys track. They're the
hmm
kind of connections I can think of.
Mm.
hmm
Unless
Yeah.
Mark, you've written a song for Heavy D, like maybe you've done some writing on a song. Maybe I don't know. That seems like something you might have done or something.
oh, nah,
Say it
nah.
again. Oh,
Nobody
okay.
writes.
So something more.
No, I don't. Nobody ever wrote for Heavy.
Yeah,
It's funny
But
you mentioned that. I mentioned that to Heavy the night of the 'cause Heavy was there the night of Radio City Music Hall, and me and him had a conversation about that, about why we hadn't did anything together yet. Up until that point, obviously it never happened, but still, the conversation came up.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Hmm
Kev the chef was saying, um, could you say something about the smooth version of New Jack Swing Part 2? Why is there only the hard version on the album?
Smooth version of New Jack Swing Part Two.
oh, it
What's the
wasn't no
smooth
smooth
version?
version. Yeah, it wasn't no smooth version.
a remix.
Oh,
There was two versions. There was two versions. Do you remember I tried to play something and then it didn't
Mm,
audio?
mm.
That's what he's talking about.
So you mean that there was a different version, not the one on House Party 2, there was another version?
No,
it may have been a remix or a mix, a different mix of it, but I don't know. Teddy used to do like so many different type of mixes to everything that was becoming a single. You'll have stuff that you never, that you probably heard probably one time and just forgot about it. But I
Mm.
don't recall.
Um,
Yeah, I don't remember what smooth mix. Cause Teddy would do so many mixes to them songs, man. There'd be like five different versions, and I'm like, oh God, you get music happy and just keep on going.
Uh,
I
I
many
think
got one
different
or two in mind, and
it was a little like you had so you had Ready or Not and you had Here We Come. So Ready or Not was like very swing heavy. Then you had Here We Come, which sounded like a more harder track. It sounded a little bit more hip hop. So I
hmm
think it's similar to that. So the New
Mm.
Jack Swing 2 on the album sounded more hip hop, whereas the smooth version sounded more swing. So I think
Mm.
that's the mix that
mm,
Kev's talking about.
Um,
okay.
both Malik and Dan are saying that you had a different alternative version of Rob Shaker at the 92 Apollo show. And he's Dan saying that you also had another one. Yeah, did you change the lyrics for the Apollo show of Rum Shaker?
Well, that I mean, at the time, I would do things like that, and that, it would really be random. Um, I would decide that I want to do a new verse during a show, a television show or something like that. And that's all that was. It that never actually existed as a recording. Anytime I did something like that, and it would just be a spontaneous sort of, what, I got something else that I want to do. And in hindsight, I'm like, okay, well, I get lost in the, just the thrill of being an MC and not even realizing I obviously wanted to entertain people, but at the same time, they're entertained by familiarity. So, perhaps sticking with the one that they knew was the way to go.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you couldn't tell me that. I'm like, shit, I got something else I want to say. You know what I'm saying? So I get caught up in the moment. And I think I did that on Arsenio too. Like
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what they
come up
said.
with these different verses and I'm like, oh, it could also go like this, Yeah.
Another question came through is my question for the end is when you all performed Dog Me Out remix on Arsenio, why wasn't Aaron's verse that he performed included in the official recording? Did Aaron have a verse on Arsenio but didn't have it on the record? That's what they're trying to say.
I don't
Mm,
know. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't.
nah, I remember the Arsenio the remix being the way that the remix actually is. I don't think it differed any. I mean, sometimes what would happen, we may come up with an idea for performance, for visual performance purposes that differs a little bit from whatever you may be familiar with on wax. But from what I remember, I think Arsenio went exactly like that particular remix goes. I don't really remember much of a difference in that.
Okay.
And Damien is the primary one on
On Dog Me Out.
on
Yeah,
on
that
that
was
remix.
his,
Uh,
yeah, that was him.
okay.
That was his one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever perform at Motown Soul by the Sea?
Yeah, we did so by the sea, me, you and B, Mark. You remember
That's
that?
the joint
I
we did
was
in Jamaica.
Yeah, that was Jamaica. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was BT.
No, that was yeah. Well, oh yeah, well that was BT, so it was
Right.
sold by the sea
Yeah,
though.
but it was
Yeah, you're
Motown.
right.
Yeah. But it was BT,
Okay.
but they did it on
Okay.
BT, but yeah, Motown
Okay.
artists and stuff. Yeah.
Got
Yeah,
you,
we
got
did.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
So that's
that
why
was
we were there as Motown artists at the time. We were with
yeah,
Motown. Yeah.
that was nice too. I like the way they treated us out there.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's why the question is then how did you guys end up on NCA if you were originally on Motown when you first came out?
Same way we ended up on Motown when we was originally on Atlantic.
Atlantic, right?
The G
Yeah,
Griffiths moves.
yeah. Yeah, Gene had a way of just moving things around. But when we went from I mean the Motown to MCA thing, that is interesting. I don't remember too many of those details because that was that was post Gene by the time we got on MCA, which obviously had a lot to do with Teddy's deal
Yeah,
over
that's
there.
what Teddy had
So
his
yeah,
he had his deal
Teddy
over at
first,
MCA,
yeah,
Okay.
his
and
first
we
label deal was with MCA.
Okay.
Hmm.
we was the first act off of that.
I forgot this album was on Atlantic. That's crazy. I didn't realize. How did I? I didn't think that even click.
That's the EP. That's the EP.
And there's
Yeah.
the single off this as well. Go for what you know, which is I didn't
Uh-huh.
realize. That's crazy. Atlantic. Wow. How did I miss that?
Another a question from Colin. What was your favorite feature? So for Akil, his was your verse on Cutie, but 911's Cutie. But Akil, do you have a feature that you're a favorite that you've performed on?
Mm, my favorite. I have two. Bobby Brown's.
Uh-huh.
That's the way love is,
Yeah.
and and Dog Me Out.
Okay. What about you, Markel?
It would be those two too. I mean, I didn't do too many feet. Mine would be Michael Jackson. My most favorite one would be Michael
Yeah,
Jackson
man.
because the experience. Uh, Dog Me Out is because we had the full experience because we got the video. We got the artist treatment for that. So yeah, I like Dog Me Out. I wish we would have performed it more too.
Okay, yeah, but you did Mind Behind the Music with Queen Pen. You were on those Black Street stuff. You also Not a Butter stuff.
Yeah, yeah, but uh, uh
Eh,
I, it was to me the Michael Jackson thing was the ultimate.
Okay, yeah.
I don't care how good it was to be, even though I didn't say much on it.
Mm,
Just doing it, just
yeah.
doing it, and being in the studio with that guy, seeing how he operate, uh, the experience overall was it. That takes the cake.
Wow. Um, Malik is
Hmm.
saying that his favorite London Jones Joy All Star remix featuring Aqil. Do you remember that?
I do. I don't remember what I said on there, but I remember it. I remember doing it. I have no idea what I said on that song. I would have to hear it, and then it'll come back when I hear it. But I just remember that I did it.
um, Tone is asking, what was it like filming Rec Shop with the OGs, Blackstreet members, Levi Chauncey, and Joe Stone Street? And how did you all meet the OG members, the first Blackstreet? How did you? What was it like doing the Rec Shop and they were in the video and that whole that one of your favorite videos? Rec Shop.
Ultimately, yeah, yeah, because that being shot in the middle of Harlem,
Wow.
but meeting them, they it was not like we met. They was around us before, we was successful Wreckx-N-Effect, and they were successful Blackstreet. So it's not like we just met them and they just came to the video shoot and we was like, yo, come on, get in. They were family.
Mm.
You know, uh Joseph Stone Street is a trip though. He's a funny dude. He was a good dude. Um he liked to joke, he liked to play. You would have had a ball being around him.
Was he one of the best singers you've ever heard? I mean,
Man, he'd be a top five. I won't pinpoint one person as the best.
yeah.
Because it's just so many singers that came around at that time, whether they were old school, new school, um, to say who's the best. Because not everybody sound, the same.
Because you had Joe Stone Street, you had Diesel, Aaron. I mean, how would a Big
Uh-huh.
Bub?
You had Big Bub, um, you had Mark Middleton, Dave Hollister, uh, oh my God, what's the name from 911?
Diesel.
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 No,
Hmm.
not Ezo. 911 had three
Oh,
different.
okay.
There's Rob
That's
and
a
uh,
Rob or
Slim,
Rob doing the plays right now. Yeah, Rob
Marcus Vance.
and Marcus. Yeah. So
Okay.
you it
okay,
was just so
Marcus.
many singers you had, and it's hard to just say. It's just hard to say
Okay.
because like now, if you go around some of the singers that Teddy have around him now, you'd be like, dang.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Tone callers said Omar Chandler. Man, what a voice! Just hearing
Yeah.
Yeah,
his name
Yeah.
yeah,
just
Chandler. Yeah, he was
that's
special.
cool. And this
Yeah.
is a trip, man.
Stone, yeah,
I'm looking.
Stone.
It's blown my mind. Atlantic Records. I've never processed that. I've got like a stack of Rex and Effect records, and it says, look, it says it in English. Atlantic.
Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me, man?
We had a good time at Atlantic with Sylvia and them
Ah,
cats up there.
was that with Sylvia Roan? You were there. That's nice.
Yep. Hmm.
How was it working with her? Because was she a good person to
Well, I
work
mean,
with?
she was good. I mean, but we didn't have too much hands on with her because she was dealing with Gene. But
Oh, of course.
when you dealing with Gene, yeah, they all treat us very well.
Hmm.
James is
And
funny.
on top of that, I mean, we were such kids at the time of
Yeah,
that EP that we really didn't get a chance to experience too much interaction in that sort of way. You know what I mean? To really be personable to a high degree with a lot of people. You know, we were just happy
to
that we
be
made our make a record dream come true. That was the highlight. And for me concerning her, you know, she always gets the ultimate praise in that regard because that's like, you know, believing in these kids' dream for the
Mhm.
first time. And, you know, me, Mark, and B in particular, and I point separate us only because before we met KC, you know, these are the things that we would sit in Markell's house and dream about, you know, visualize and talk about things that we wanted to do, was going to do, and all of this stuff, and far more came true. And, you know, so when she took Gene up on the offer to sign us, for us, it was like automatic instant success because the height of our thing was like, listen, man, we want to make a record and, you know, we want to get some cars and all of this kind of stuff. You know, we had, you know, from children's vantage point, a very short list that was a long list to us at the time.
Mm.
So just making that record for us was like in the experience, you know, going through the experience. So whoever's responsible for believing in the kids' dreams for me, and I'm sure for us, is just like, you know, they get the ultimate respect and appreciation for that because that's, you know, a lot of people have those dreams, you know
Mm.
what I mean? And not everybody gets that opportunity. And it takes somebody that's on the inside that's willing to say, hey, I want to give these kids a shot,
yeah.
and that got everything going. You know, we that it was enough. It was enough happened with it for us to consider ourselves a success. It wasn't a commercial booming success, but for us, it was a success because, you know, success is you achieving your intention. You know what I mean? Accomplishing that thing, and we did that much with that project. You know, we went on obviously when the New Jack Swing era occurred to do other things, greater things, and became a household name at, you know, at a later point. But for us, it was like you couldn't tell us nothing, man. We did it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We did it. That was our outlook.
Yeah. Okay. Question from Dan is: Did you, Akil? Did you ever ghostwrite a song for someone else that you weren't featured as a rapper?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's quite a few. The first one that I did, most people don't know. My first writing project outside of Wreckx-N-Effect came by way of someone that was a part of our GR camp. God bless him, Floyd Norris, who passed several years back. Floyd brought me in to write alongside MC Trouble, and I did a song for and with her called "It's About That Time" that was on a movie soundtrack called "Heaven Is a Playground," I think, or something like that. I think the movie was called "Heaven Is a Playground." Or the album, you know, something. Heaven is a Playground. The song was called "It's About That Time," and 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 so that was the first time that I did something like that. And then, you know, following that, you know, and the Rex and Effect stuff obviously was already underway. I think at that time we had already did the New Jack Swing album. Yeah, we did. And then the stuff for you know, the songs that I wasn't on the God Prod the Future album,
Then
like
you
the
do the
stuff in
hammer joint.
yeah, that came later. I'm gonna get to that. The Hammer
Oh,
joint, um, the Future album, the songs that, you know, her and I want to get with you, you know, with Teddy,
Mm.
you know, and then yeah, the MC Hammer, MC Light,
Which MC Hammer was
Rough
that?
Neck, um, OG Funk,
Okay.
MC Hammer's OG Funk, And yeah, one of the actually, yeah, it was the last time. The last time we saw him, or we were performing some years back, Mark, in that Walker, Minnesota show.
Uh,
You remember that with the
yeah,
casino outside, that big,
yeah.
that big outside event, and him and Salt and Pepper was there, and I think Tone Loc. Hammer was really excited, and he was telling his son, who I don't even think, well, either he was really small at the time, but he was
Uh,
a grown young man, at this point, and he was excited when he saw me. He was just telling his son, "Oh, there's there go Aqil. He wrote so and so for me." Blah, 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 blah. It was a cool moment, man. Him is always a pleasure to run into, and but I wasn't expecting that, but he was giving me flowers and allowing his son to know that the work, in that moment that we saw each other at during sound check. So yeah, so those are some of the joints that come to mind.
Okay.
Nice.
You know,
I was just going to say, lots of questions are coming through. Uh, there's no way the guys are going to be able to keep up with these questions at this rate. So if something gets missed, it's not intentional. It's just you guys have a lot to ask, and we can see it on the chat. So
It's good.
there's a lot of love there. So please be patient. We'll try and get as much answers as.
Yeah, well, Benson's accent. Well, Markell, you could probably start with that. Then Aqil, could you please share some stories about working with Michael on She Drives Me Around as Heavy and Jam? Was okay, yeah, because Heavy, there was an alternative rap that Heavy had on Jam. And did you guys have an alternative verse of your rap? And did you go to talk to Mike about the song?
well, I mean, I don't know if I'll kill. I haven't talked to him about the song. Um, I my attachment to that song is just a piece of the verse that All Kill wrote for the song. Uh, how was it working with him? It was it was like a fantasy. Who know they gonna be working with Michael Jackson? Guest rap group on we was probably what the first or second rap group or rappers with Michael Jackson, right?
if it was somebody that we know before us in terms of just like literal commercial sort of, just somebody in the industry as hip hop artists, I don't know who it is because I only
Yeah,
know of us and Heavy, Heavy with
yeah,
Jam and us with She Drives Me Wild. That was the first time that it happened that I was aware of.
yeah.
Outside of whoever that is rapping on Black and White
Black
in
and
that
white,
same
right?
album. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I was thinking of him just now. I thought that was 3 rappers on that album.
Yeah,
You guys, Heavy D,
Heavy D, yeah,
and that guy.
Mhm.
yeah. But
Yeah.
he's Michael was a sweetheart, man. And I don't mean it in any funny way, but he was a good genuine guy. He loves who he worked with.
Hmm.
I tell
Yeah,
you, he loves who he worked with. I don't care if it was Rodney Jerkins or R. Kelly or he genuinely loved them guys and he will do whatever. Because I seen the experience with Teddy, so he would do whatever it is he needs to do to make whatever he want happen with that person he's working with. And at that time we was going through a hard time because we just lost Brandon,
Hmm.
and uh Teddy wanted us to work with him, but at the same time get us out of New York City because of the times that we was going through.
Hmm.
So he flew first, me and Arkell out there. He put us up at what's that with the University Sheraton?
yeah, Sheraton Universal.
Yeah.
Yep.
He put
Hmm.
us up in there. He gave both of us separate suites, rented both of us separate cars. Then from that, he flew my girlfriend, which is my wife now, out there. He flew Arkell at that time, uh, girlfriend out there, had us scheduled to go to Neverland Ranch. I didn't make it because my wife didn't get in on time.
You know what? I was going to ask you. I said, I don't remember, and I can't even imagine what in the hell made Markell not go that day.
Yeah, I wasn't
I
gonna
just
go to
couldn't
LA.
like. I'm telling you, I was thinking about this recently. Like Markell lost his damn mind, and I don't even remember what happened to where I said I'm gonna ask him, yo, what made you not go? All I know is when I got the call from Teddy, I was in my room and Teddy gave me the call, and I'm gonna go back to that question that he asked because I didn't forget regarding the rap. Um, and he told me what was up. Like, yo, Mike said we could come to because we had already did the work in the studio. And he's like, Mike said we could come to Neverland. I'm like, word. He said, yeah, you could bring somebody. Really?
Yeah,
Okay. So and I got on the phone like, yo, you got to come out here. Like, I need you on the plane
yeah,
today. Get
ASAP.
yourself situated. You coming out here? Bang, bang, bang. And so she flew out there. And my reasoning for that primarily was, I'm not finna experience this. I'm not finna be telling nobody this is what happened. I need a witness that this happened.
Right.
I need my own personal witness that has their own personal life too that can validate that this happened. I'm not gonna be saying, yo, this is what happened and ain't nobody else was there other than us. Like, no, 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 no. I need somebody that's kind of like an outsider to experience this. And also it's going to impact their life because who gets to just who gets to spend a day with Michael Jackson, where does that happen at for any of us, so that was the flip side of it. But I always wanted to know that, like, I didn't remember that she didn't get out there in time, and that was the reason. Because just in hindsight, I was like, yo, Mark must have lost his damn mind that day. I
Y'all,
don't know. And
at that time, y'all had to catch a helicopter, right?
no, we took a limo that next morning.
Yeah. See, it was
We
something. It
took
was
a
something where
yeah,
her
yeah,
flight
we
came
went
in and
we
y'all
was in the
already
limo.
left.
Yeah, we was in the limo that next morning. But you see, bro, I wasn't asking no questions. I don't know where he at. I don't know. But we here and when the limo go, you know how Teddy be when it's time to go. Teddy ain't waiting for nobody. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody holding him up when it's time to go. Whatever it is, the bus moving, you better be there because he's gone. I was in that mode that morning, ready. We are here. We are ready. I don't know what happened to Bob, but that's great to hear that you just reminded me of that. I didn't remember. I was like, man, I can't imagine what would make him say I'm not going, but that's what happened.
I didn't want her to come all the way to LA, and then be stuck in a hotel because I knew it was going to be a time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I forgot that she wasn't going to arrive on time.
Yeah, her
Okay.
flight got
Okay,
delayed.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What about the other part? Was there an alternative rap for this song?
Yeah. So about that, nah, it wasn't. When I heard the joint, um, I literally stood there. I listened to it once, heard it, okay, and I stood there and I just started thinking of what I would say by my mom. And Bruce Woodine, he was playing it, and then he played it back a couple of times. I stood there. I mean, it's an 8 bar verse. I stood there, thought of what I wanted to say, and then it hit me as the way that music closed on those beats that Teddy got there, the bang 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 bang. For whatever reason, it just hit me like, oh, those are the same. That's like the same syllables of the title. She drives me wild. So they just kind of like fell in place as a close, as a great way to close that verse. And just so happened, those words match up. When you listen to that, you'll
Me,
hear,
me.
those beats happen to hit, each title of the each word in the title of the song, and I said, okay, I'm gonna wrap it up like that. But that's what it was, went in the booth and laid it down. We did that, and I'm proud to say that we were recorded by Bruce Woodine. Not too many people can say that. It's one thing to say that you obviously what it is to work with Mike, but it's another thing equally to say that, we can say that we were recorded by Bruce
Wow.
Swedeen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Legend.
know, where does that happen at? Like this
Well,
is
we was
this is the
recorded by
mic. This
John
is the
Marie Ovac too, though.
Yeah, we have to give
bro.
you a
Here's the
Marie.
thing. Here's the thing. Listen, my nickname for Jean Marie. My nickname has always been Gene Swedeen. This is what I call him, teasing his name, Gene Swedeen.
He's with the
When we remember when Jean came in and started working with us, so it ain't obviously yeah, Jean know what it is. Gene's Bruce Woodine is the Michael Jackson of engineers. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I'm just throwing the flowers to the Michael Jackson of engineers. You know what I'm saying? It certainly ain't no take from the big homie Jean, because I've learned so
Well,
much from him.
I was joking. I was joking. I ain't.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, that dude, yeah, the homie, and dog, he's priceless, man. I got
Yeah,
so many engineering tips from so much stuff, man, and I learned along the way from Jean, alongside Teddy. Obviously, forget about it. That's the ear trainer right there, and then the things you pick up just watching him work. But literally working with Jean, we did so much work. With the A Sharp album that I produced, Jean was he did that whole record. You know what I mean? Like we did a lot of work together. So there's so much to learn from that dude, that I got gems. I hit John up recently on this production that I'm working on. It's closed out now. But I had to call him on some, like, yeah, John, what in this situation, like da 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 da. I'm trying to, this chick that sounded like that, and then the drummer did this, da da da. And John, he give me a list of, okay, well, this is what you want to do, and this is how you could work that situation out and fix it. And so, that's the homie for life, man. Great guy too. John Marie is. I mean, you talk about a great spirit. It's spirits like him, and I'm gonna just take this moment to give him his flowers, as Mark brought this up. It's spirits like him that makes me feel good that I wasn't raised in on and with racist views. Like
right.
I wasn't raised like that, so I don't identify with that space in terms of how I feel about people from the onset, because I know solid people from various walks that's they like they just solid people regardless. And um and so I've always looked at people from that vantage point, and Jean Marie is one of those experiences where you don't get caught up in that. You just get caught up in the quality of his character as a person, and he's such a solid individual. And it's and we've always had, all of us. Always he came into the camp and blended like he had always been with
Yeah,
us.
John Marie like a family member. John Marie is a
Yeah,
family.
he is, man. So anyway,
And
so that's what it was. Not to get too much off into that.
and you guys also worked quite a lot with Dave Way.
Yeah,
Oh, forget about
Dave,
it. Yeah, yeah,
Dave Way's
yeah.
another,
That's
he's another. Just he is it through the stratosphere, man.
I
When
was
that
going. I was
yeah,
going to say
yeah.
Dave too, but
Dave is the man.
yeah, Dave started working with Babyface after a while though.
Yeah, Dave is foundational.
Yeah,
Dave Way he's foundational New Jack Swing. Like, I mean, he's the sound of the building blocks going forward. You know what I mean? Like, he's the one that kind of, he was the engineer that paved the road along the way when all of this stuff was taking form. It was Dave Way there, you know.
Nice.
Markell, for
Hmm.
you,
that
I know
question.
you.
I read the question.
Okay, you read the question. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it. And this is me being honest. It's so long ago.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so long ago. So being so far removed from that, it was a good experience. I remember the song in the group, but I don't remember how it went down or anything. I can't elaborate on it, to be
Was that
honest.
Levaber's project? Was that Levaber's project? Well, Levaber was heavily involved in that, right?
See,
You don't remember? It's okay.
yeah, yeah,
It's okay.
and I'm not trying to be funny or short about it, but
No,
I
you're
ain't gonna
fine.
sit here and make something up.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, the question they had was when you did That's Way Love It, who was behind the boards? Was it Demetrius or Teddy? And did you work with Demetrius much?
Mm, I mean, we spent a lot of time obviously around each other. I wouldn't say we worked together a lot because as I don't have a whole bunch of experiences where I could say, well, me and Demetrius did this, that, and the third. That wasn't what it was. Demetrius is just such a cool dude, man. The time that he was around, yeah, certain people just kind of just form into the fold, man, and you feel their authentic spirit, and y'all just sort of bond. So, he was always hands on in terms of anything that he had something to do with, without question. And I'm sure that there are times that the both of them is around because there's nothing coming up on the board that Teddy doesn't have, at the very least, oversight. He maintains his supervision, oversight, and his ear is superior. So it's like it's in everybody's best interest to to have him have a say on what's going to be that end, that end product. So absolutely, Demetrius was around, and Teddy was around. I can't lay out the exact, this day, this one, and that one, but yeah, they were
Uh,
both present.
love the new Jack Swing album, Peanut Butter or Smooth. Who played the keys on the start of V Man? Was it Teddy or
Teddy
Ray?
Teddy did that. Yeah,
Okay.
Teddy thought to add that after after we recorded the song with Red. In fact, it was also Teddy's idea because I initially named the song Von Drew, who the song was dedicated to. And when Teddy heard where I had taken the title, although he loved the song, he felt that it should be more generalized and refer to Vaughn as V Man. So it was his idea to turn the title of that from Vaughn Drew to V Man because for me, as it was for all of us, it was such an emotional loss that
Yeah.
yeah, that I just went straight to the juggler on it in terms of this is who I'm talking about. And so, for me as the writer, I was just a little too close to it to see there's another way to express this and just kind of make it broaden it. You're still talking about him, but what you do is you also open it up to other people that may have had a similar situation. Somebody named V. You know what I mean? It could mean more to more people. Vaughn's story can mean more to others that way. And so that's what led to the title V Man.
Oh, almost like Heavy D's Peaceful Journey.
Mm,
Yeah. VJ?
yeah.
And uh, Aqil, KB, Kevin Bracey from Flushing says hi, and I think you're
What
both.
up, KB?
And
That's the homie, man. That's my guy, KB. We ain't speaking a long time.
he is the guy. And also, Ronnie Wright said he is enjoying this Harlem Renaissance. Hi, Ronnie. How you doing? Hi, Kevin.
What's
How
up,
you?
Man,
Ronnie?
what up, Ronnie? Ronnie, you got classics on us, man. We need some of them
Yeah,
classic pictures.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just I just asked Ernie Paniccioli recently the same thing. I saw him at I went to Bam's homegoing service, Bam Bada. I went to his homegoing service and ran into to Ernie Paniccioli there, and I asked Ernie the same thing, like, yo, B, you got some one of the homies from Mark, one of the homies out of Australia. Boy, do I got a classic, man. Me, you, Teddy, and B. This joint is so mean. Man, I wish I could show y'all. I wish I knew how to show you. I would put the picture. But
you
this
got it
joint
on
is
your phone.
mean. Got it on my phone, man. The joint is mean. So Yeah, B. So they got some classics. So you know, Ronnie got
Yeah,
classics.
Ronnie used to do a lot of our photo shoots too. But he
Yeah.
was the photo guy of Harlem. Period.
Yeah. You
He
know he's got
basically.
a camera in his hand right now.
Yeah,
Probably got his cup of coffee and a camera. That's what he's doing.
yeah, yeah. That's Ronnie.
That's his style.
Uh-huh.
The other question he had is
And also, he's a funny guy too. He jokes a lot.
Yeah,
Really?
Ronnie got jokes
Ronnie
always.
gets jokes. Yeah.
the question they had was for the gentleman. It's another group from your GR production was ARB. They had an album with the similar title as yours, Hard and Smooth. Was that coincidental?
What?
I don't even remember who that was.
Yeah.
ARB.
Uh, ARB was who was ARB?
Remember that's it. Do
They
you
had
have
a track called New Jack Swing. They had a track called New
this is
Jack.
after the split and they stayed with Basic Black and they stayed with GR
It was
after.
called the Hard and
Oh yeah, so yeah, we wouldn't know about them. We wouldn't even know about them. We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't even know that
That was before. Yeah, that was before. That was after. That had to be after the split.
Yeah.
that was after the split, which meant it was after the New Jack Swing album, and we didn't even know that happened. All we
Yeah.
knew was
Yeah.
about all we knew about was we knew about Basic Black, but we didn't know about the other group.
You'll
I
know the
don't recall.
names. There's Excalibur, who did some work on the Basic Black stuff. Timmy Arthur and
Okay.
Deirdre Thomas. They're that was the group.
Okay. That's okay. Because the Digit Thomas sounds familiar, and
You said
you said
Deirdre?
something about Excalibur. Would you say
Excalibur was they did 2 tracks, I believe, on the Basic
okay.
Black. I did think the rap.
Okay, yeah, that certainly rings a bell. Yeah, but there was no tie from one thing to it. I don't know. That was clearly coincidental because the title from our record um, was just based on the reason why we named it that. And this is obviously '92, so we ain't thinking about nothing concerning whatever may have happened back in '90, creatively speaking. That was rooted in just the energy because a lot of people that didn't know us, hip hop in particular, the culture has this thing to where depending on whatever you release first, they size you up as that being who you are.
Right.
And they don't know who you are, but they go off of the music. And so we kind of, as kids, we kind of wrestled with that, you know, with people being misinformed because our overseers, Gene and Teddy, they saw it best that, and I shared this before, that we dedicate our focus to making records that have a chance of being very successful and changing our situation. For them, it wasn't about us advertising who we are, where we're from, the dark side of the things of that experience and all of that. It wasn't about any of that. It was about what does it take, what music is going to cut through and change the situation for yourselves and your family. And that was the goal. And they had the best intentions and that's what we followed. We looked to them for guidance. But along the way, who we are and what we know ourselves to be, we found it challenging at times dealing in a culture, a community that was confused about that because all they knew about us was our music, and they would get it twisted at times, and and think something was sweet, and so we had a problem with that. So there was kind of like this inner wrestle, sort of, so to speak, and and one of the ways of communicating that sometimes it came out creatively and that title was one of them. Just kind of hard or smooth. In other words, any way you want it. We could do it like that, or we could do it like this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so that's the spirit of where that title came from.
Mm. Okay, you can start with this, Markel. What was the inspiration when you did My Cutie, and then Aqil was B. Tell me how you feel. who were you guys talking with? Did you have someone in mind when you wrote the lyrics of those both songs?
My thing was I was talking to my I was talking to my girlfriend.
Who's now your wife, right?
Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah, yeah. Uh, uh, that it wasn't meant for her. It was just a song just talking about girls, like fine girls out there that I wouldn't mind, or how I would wine and dine them, or
Hmm.
that. Uh, that's it really. But I was young. I was still running the street, so it wasn't. I'm not. My wife ain't down here, so I could say it wasn't for her.
Okay,
It
okay.
wasn't for her, but it was for her. Yeah.
Well, okay, what about you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to
man,
know who the hell asked that question.
Maybe it probably was her.
it's
I want
Probably
to
probably
was.
know who asked. I insist to know who asked that question.
Maurice Lamar.
them.
Okay. All
It
right.
seems like somebody you might know. It seems like very personal. It's like, yeah, full
Yeah.
question.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know who.
Y'all did my duty and tell me how you feel. Who was y'all talking to? It seems like a very personal question.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen. I'm gonna have to put it. I'm gonna have to put it like this, because I was just running through the timeline, and yeah. Hey, listen. I'm gonna stand on my writer square, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say that my inspirations. There were two. There were two inspirations that brought the elements of tell me how you feel together for me. Um, and those two inspirations just kind of helped me. That became the muse to piece together that song. I ain't going into no names and all of that, but that was, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hey, Silk.
listen. It was
Hey,
I listen, man.
Silk.
Listen.
Silk.
Yeah, come
I'll
on.
tell you this. I
What are
tell
you
you
doing all that
this.
for, man?
One and two. How about this? One and two. Okay.
Silk.
I give you one and I give you two. The first one and the second one. That's all I'm gonna say about that. The one that was on first base and the one that was on second base. You know, y'all may
I
not be
know. I
friends,
know.
but
I
y'all
know
gonna
one.
come. Hey, listen, Mark. Y'all may not be friends, but y'all gonna come together on this song. How about
Right.
that? All right. Like it or not, you're coming together on this song.
Uh-huh.
Well, following up on that, uh, Big is saying that Akil, I will always put your skills, MC skills, um, with the likes of Trench and who's that?
Papoose, Tretch and
Papoose.
Papoose.
Um, and they just wanted to find out: did you ever get the respect and recognition you deserve as an MC?
Um, you know, for me, that first of all, thank you. Who you said that was? That said that?
That's Big O 2K.
Big O 2K. Salute. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't ever feel like I've been shorted from the vantage point of those that I respect and admire as MCs themselves. Like throughout my entire career, I've been complimented by those that most people revere. And that's just the facts. And that happened to me so many times from so many people, man, that along the way, that I would just appreciate that they were able to identify through the work that they were exposed to at the time, that hey man, there's something special about this kid. And so yeah, I think so. From my vantage point, maybe there are people in general that's kind of that maybe along the way, maybe some people got it, maybe some people didn't. But for me, it's always been satisfying to hear from the likes of a Heavy about me, to hear from the likes of a Jam Master Jay about me. To have Cool G Rap walk up to me in the club and say, "Yo, man, I like your shit." That meant the world to me. To have somebody that I revere as a elite MC, Freddie Fox, say to me, "Yo, you remind me of like a mix between me and Tretch. You like a combination," but that was his view. You know what I'm saying? That means the world to me because these are MCs that I respect. To have Jay Z say to me, "Yo, you very talented." For him to choose my name to put into one of his raps on his first album and use me as a metaphor. Like these are things. So for me, man, and I could go on. There's other people, and
Yeah,
I could
Flavor
go
Flav,
on.
Total Control. I mean, that was
Yeah, yeah. Even Flav with the total control thing. So that sort of thing has always followed me from those that I would expect to know and that I would want to know because I've had the opportunity of working with Kane. Me and him did a joint together. We did a remix that never came out. Um, so to just these are people for me that a lot of them, that I look to and say, wow, on my way in, these became muses and markers of, relative excellence. Whatever their area of strength was, it was a it was a marker to say, okay, well, you have to be strong in this area, that area, X, Y, and Z. And so that pretty much has been a consistent thing. So I do feel satisfied in that regard. And honestly speaking, um, I don't I don't really look too much further beyond that. I'm appreciative of all of it and
mm,
whatever else may come from whoever else. And there's a boatload of people, the general public that has you know, showed me their, giving me flowers along the way. And I appreciate that no less than anybody else.
mm.
But it just, it means a great deal to me when those who I respect their gift, when they in turn, share how they felt about me. So
Yeah.
I'm at peace with that.
I was just going to say, hi, Pax, Kev, Deo, and Christian has asked the question. He said that you have Teddy's got future recording studios coming up again in Virginia. Can we expect a Hard or Smooth Part 2 or a new album from you guys? That's what the questions were from a couple of people. Christian and somebody else had asked something along those lines.
We talked
But we
about,
see, we see,
yeah.
we see what whatever Teddy's, whatever his thing is, whatever he plans on doing, creatively. The
Cool.
likelihood is very high that we'll work together and do something again. That likelihood is very high. We can't specifically say in the moment exactly what that'll be, but you know, it's far more probable that we'll work together with him and do something than not. You know,
Cool.
Yeah. VJ, were you into this New Kids on the Block Face the Music album? They,
I I think I like the three tracks that these guys, like the New Jack String Productions crew, did. Teddy, Chauncey, you guys had all done, and I like the nice and smooth track, "Dirty Dog." I don't remember much of the other stuff really, but I know a lot of people love this album.
were you guys in the studio that X with New Kids on the Block?
I was uh I was in the
I
studio,
wasn't.
but I wasn't in the studio while they was recording. I was in the studio when they first came to the studio, as well as when he was working with is
I'll
the
be right back. Let me plug up.
Backstreet Boys when they did Bye Bye Bye.
Oh, did they
Uh
come and re-record it, or was that the?
no, we I think we was up in, if I'm not mistaken, I think we was in the studio in New York because actually Britney Spears was in that studio too.
Wow.
So along with them, I don't know if this was at the time when she was dating Justin,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, she was in the studio with them.
Oh,
Uh,
they re-recorded their vocals. I thought it was just like they. I did realize they re-recorded their vocals.
yeah, I don't listen, when Teddy was working with groups like that, I was in the studio, but not in the studio. I was more running the streets than anything. Like I just stop there and stick my head in, say I was there, and then I probably leave and then come back. I was more back and forth, especially if it was in New York. I go back uptown and go hang out.
It's incredible when you say like all these creative forces are in the same space. So you've got you guys, you've got Teddy, you've got the whole camp, you've got the Backstreet Boys. Was it the Backstreet Boys? And you got Britney Spears. I mean, all in the same place. That just sounds that's interesting, right?
Hey, what you see on TV, what you see them, that's fanfare, right? We are normal people behind the scenes. We like to do the same thing that everybody do, but everybody make it seem like we do it at a enormous feat. You know what I'm saying? But we do the same thing: sit, watch TV, eat popcorn, talk trash, joke on each other all day. So we do all of that. Well, I'm a normal person now. I don't do the celebrity. As you can see, I travel the world totally different than everybody. So,
No, fair enough.
but
Did we
yeah,
ever answer why Tell Me How You Feel wasn't released? Or was it never even a thought?
I think we did.
No, we touched on it, but I think the short answer to that is just we just didn't we didn't get to that point in the energy of the album. We had other joints that were up paced that we wanted to we wanted to go with, and then when that time did come around, it kind of made more sense to go with my cutie from Markell's interactive vantage point
Mm,
opposed to yet another joint because again on this album is the introduction to him, rapping,
mm,
MCing. So it's like, it was time to showcase him as well. So for us to, regardless of how we felt about Tell Me How You Feel, for us to come out with that again, just
mm.
now we pushing it into what we saying is going to be a fourth single. You know what I'm saying? By the time he gets it, time to just put the spotlight on him. You know what I mean? So it just kind of it worked out in a way that made sense, and Tell Me How You Feel just kind of had to, it just took a back seat within a lineup. After Rump Shaker, we certainly wanted to come again with the energy up, and then after that, we actually dropped Knocking Boots
Mm.
after Rump Shaker first, and for whatever reason, between radio and the late, I think it was more so radio. They found fault with the innuendos. I don't know how, because you had to be an adult to understand it. It wasn't like kids were going to sort out anything I said, and that the whole song was written in that tense. The whole point was this is going to be loaded with innuendos that to just protect the kids. They ain't gonna know what we talking about, and it still backfired. They was still like, nah, because with the concept, man, listen, you can't figure this out unless you're an adult. So but it didn't work. So they end up pulling that. They pulled that, and and then that's when we followed up with Wreck Shop to compensate for the energy loss of Knocking Boots.
Okay.
And then after that it was time to change.
hey, the tone cat said
Okay.
did we ever go to the danger zone on 139th and Lennox?
Well, I tell you this, for one, L was a little homie to me, man. Like me and L was super cool. L is one of the only artists that I personally encountered outside of McGruff. McGruff is the homie too. Um, but L, what I always respected about L, every time we run into each other, I see L. L moved through Harlem like I moved through Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Like he was, for one, most of the time, L was by himself. L would be doing his promotions. He'd stand in front of that mart. He got his flyers. L was pushing his own damn needle forward. You know what I'm saying? Because people celebrate his name now, but everybody wasn't giving him the the
The
support
attention that,
that
yeah.
they give him now. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? People be reimagining shit as time go on, but L made it a point to he wasn't slowing down for nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I always respected that about him. And we had a great deal of respect for one another. And even though L is 2 years behind me, man, I always respected his energy because he was authentic. He was authentic. He was thorough. And yeah, I produced a song on L. I did a joint with him. And that's a whole nother story. We could talk about that. But I picked him up, the 850. We went out to Jersey, Royale Bayonne studio, and we recorded a joint. L bodied it, knocked it out the park. I always personally felt that L hadn't worked with a producer. And let me get back to the point of that question. I ain't lose it. I'm
Mm.
just, it just brings, obviously 39th brings L of mine, so I'm talking about him. Um, I always felt that he hadn't worked with anybody that produced him in a way to where it's not going to be about you just being all over the place because you a hot MC. We going to take a concept and you're going to have to deliver on this concept. We're
Structure.
going to make we making a record. You know what I'm saying? This is not about how dope of an MC you are. You're going to have to package that inside of the train of thought of a good solid song, a record. And that's what we did. So I didn't know what to expect, but I trust him and his gift. So I gave him played the joint. This is what it's about. This is what we doing. This is the direction we going in. The hook is already in place. Everything laid out. Track done. Hook in place. Man, L knocked that shit out the park, man. First take. Like when I heard what he did, I was like, damn, this mother. I thought I was at least maybe one round. I was gonna have to go. I don't know, L. Maybe you should take. This is hot, but I need you to kind of stay focused on because customarily L thing would be, he gonna say a lot of hot stuff, and different vantage points. He's gonna be a little bit all over the place saying just dropping hot bars. But man, the kid took that. He took that concept and bodied it. You know what I mean? A joint called Watching Me. He bodied it, man. I mean, far greater than he exceeded my expectations in that session. And took him back home, man, and XYZ, you know what I mean? There's another, the story goes on, in terms of the song and what happened with it. It was at a time when music with people singing in the chorus and all of that kind of stuff, although the beat was hard as hell, or is hard as hell, the chorus was melodic, and L wasn't accustomed to that space. So he he essentially allowed, the opinions of other people to kind of, I don't know. Because it was at that space and time where it was kind of like taboo. It's commonplace now. But, anyway. So that's what happened there. So that was the homie. I was also me and Reg was cool as well. God bless Reg. Um, we were cool. And when I was boxing in '95, anytime I pass by there, I see Reg if he in front of the chicken store, we chop it up. Or, whatever. And not that our thing was super, super deep, but we had a mutual respect and a rapport. Um and so yeah, I mean outside of, for me, that's what it was, man. Outside of that, anytime that I needed to be, wherever I needed to be, I was gonna be there. So it certainly wasn't too much time located in one space outside of, we from Central Harlem, and that start moving a little bit further uptown. So if there's a point to be there, then we there, and if it's not, then you may be passing by, which is most of the time that I would run into you know those two homies. I would run into McGruff or Hunk, for example. You know what I mean? I think Hunk from 40th though. You know. But yeah, that's all of it, man. It's all Harlem. All of Harlem has always been love for me, man.
Markel, you touched on this earlier when so maybe a few people hadn't joined, and they wondered about backlash from the community when for your New Jack Swing sound and you feud with Tribe. Did people think? Because I know you know because you had the New Jack stuff, and then you guys wanted to do Knockin' Boots, which was more of the hip hop stuff. But did you feel like you faced backlash, and did people side against you guys with the feud you mentioned about Tribe?
It's a that's a trick question because a lot of people that when we would think had a problem with us didn't really have a problem with us. Like just because okay, you say Tony, right? They use you can New Jack swing. Or,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we'd take something like that personal, but that don't mean that they meant that for us.
Mm,
Anytime somebody says something about New Jack Swing, like Ice Cube says something, but he never directed it towards us.
mm.
Nobody never directed it towards us, so we would take it personal, being kids, and,
Okay.
and coming from where we come from. Like you, if you talk about my block, that mean you talked about everybody in our project. So if you talk about New Jack Swing, that mean you talked about everybody that's on New Jack Swing.
Mm,
Or if you say it in a negative way, that means you talking about us. But that don't mean you was talking about us.
mm,
That's the problem that we had with Tribe Called Quest, or we thought we had with Tribe Called Quest, which was a 15-second conversation that got squashed backstage at Radio City Music Hall. But we had friends that wasn't there
mm,
that didn't know that everything was good. We good. So it became a big raw deal. Uh and we was at odds with Tribe Called Quest, Zulu Nation for a while.
wow.
Yeah, we had a meeting, a sit down on 125th Street and Fifth Avenue, right? At
Yeah,
the mall.
fair. Hmm.
And everything got squashed. Everything. It was a misunderstanding. That's all. And that's what was said. It was a misunderstanding.
Mm.
Whatever happened to whoever. I don't want to mention no names of nobody because I ain't trying to make it seem like we sent dogs after them. We didn't send nobody after nobody. We have people that cared about us that much
Mm,
because we moved that one as one. Like it's no, even though we're Wreckx-N-Effect, it was nobody. It was no one person bigger than Posse Deep, like the group, the crew. So
Yeah.
if I'm hurting, they hurting. If he
mm.
hurt, they hurting. If they hurting, we hurting, and that's how it went. So
VJ, okay.
go ahead.
VJ, do you have the new Jack Swing album just to show the cover? Because they said who designed the clothing for? No, sorry, that's
That's
the
for us.
first one.
Hard smooth, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was the one that they were jumping up
Oh, the EP.
the EP. Yeah, they
EP,
said who.
the Atlantic
Ah,
EP.
I've got it all
Yeah,
here. I've got a
yeah, you
shop.
got
I've
the
got
yeah,
the
yeah.
Wreckx Effect
They
shop
said
here. So anything you
who
want,
designed the
tell me.
clothing?
I'll just pull it out. Don't worry
Who
about it.
designed the clothing? Because
listen, let me deal with this. Let me deal with this because that damn cover keep on coming up. Let me
you
let
look
me
like
make this
superheroes.
clear.
They said superheroes.
Yeah,
Hey,
that and that's what we call them.
wait, yo, we were fly back then. I don't care
Yeah,
what anybody
Let
think.
me, Leo. Let me first of all, I still got that. It's so teeny. I still got that shit. Um, Let me say this, man. We were excited. We were excited kids, man. And Gene had whoever that guy. I don't know the name of that guy. Make those outfits. Do not look at this. I look at that EP. This is our first EP. Look at that. Get that cover in your mind. Do not think that reflects the Rexon effect that you came to know because it doesn't. And a lot of people now see that because they see Wreckx-N-Effect on there, and you don't, and they came along later, so they don't know. They may be looking at that saying, "Oh, this is the Wreckx-N-Effect that made New Jack Swing, made Rump Shaker." These are the kids that started out that would go on to make New Jack Swing and to make Rump Shaker.
Yeah.
But don't look at that and think that you going and getting that, you're going to get the music that you're looking for, because we were we were in our startup phase trying to figure it out. Even Teddy with his music concerning what he felt was the right direction for us. If you listen to the music that's on that project, everything was just kind of like we figuring it out, man. The new, he there's go go in part of the expressions of the groove still. We figuring it out on that project,
Hmm.
and we were excited about it. We adore it because of that reason, and we cherish it for that reason. But don't confuse that with what we evolved into a year later when New Jack Swing, when what I call a New Jack Swing era, and I'm only saying that era because the branding of New Jack Swing occurred in late '88. That occurred initially in late '88. That didn't happen yet. There was no word called New Jack Swing when we made that EP.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was a little earlier. That EP was released in
That
early
that
March.
was pre New Jack
Yeah,
Swing.
that's pre New Jack Swing, and
Hmm.
it's important to clear that up because you got a whole demographic or two of people that don't know the difference, and they see that and they like, wow, well, why do they, this Wreckx-N-Effect? Why do they la la la? Because we starting out right there on that project and we trying to figure it out. We don't know. We just happy. Gene knows somebody to make some colorful outfits for the kids. So we in there, we in the photo, we at the photo shoot, we jumping around, happy that this is the photo shoot for our first record.
Show some
You know what I
energy.
mean?
That's good.
Yeah. And so that's what you're looking at. When you look at that, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing kids in their bliss, overloaded with joy that they have. Some kids from Central Harlem, man, from the heart of Harlem, that are overloaded with joy that we are at a photo shoot that's for our record that
Hmm.
we made, that's about to be released. This thing is happening. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So don't think nothing else other than that.
They gave praise though. They did say he did say it was one of the favorite covers. Um, um,
I told her, I think we look nice on there.
yeah, that's what he said. It was one of his
Man,
favorite
listen,
album
I was
covers.
happy. I was happy. I wore my outfit home from the photo shoot. I was happy. I still look photo shoot ready. Hey, yo, I remember I'm walking across 125th Street, still happy, still photo shoot ready. I'm like, look, you ain't taking nothing off me. Nah, everything stays on. I gotta wear this back uptown. My name is across the chest.
Yeah.
The letters are in leather. You know what I mean? I'm feeling special. 15 years old, man. Listen, B, we on our way.
But you
We on our way.
never let you go. What album was that on? Because two people
That's
have said,
Blackstreet.
And I think that was the NKOTB. Never let you go. I think that's. I think what they're saying is that song should have been done by Al B. Sure and Heavy D. That's this. Who is it?
Mm.
The Juju Man 6538 is saying that.
yeah. Dwayne also mentioned that. Where was that song from?
Never let you go.
Face the Music. It was off NKOTB's album, New Kids on the Block,
Oh, New Kids on the Block.
Oh,
Okay,
1993.
okay, okay, okay. Tone
that's
said
that's
again.
that's a petty question. That ain't no
Yeah, I
Rex.
know. Was Posse B part of BBO? I don't even know what BBO.
BBO was like our little brothers. To be
Yeah,
honest with
BBO came up behind Posse D. They like they came up behind us. The homie Future. That's one of the That's the Future is the producer of BBO. Their crew. BBO is a crew period, but they got into music, and Future was at the helm of the BBO movement. And as the thing that Teddy started doing with me concerning production and his equipment, he would pass things along. Uh, I followed that, and I would pass things along that I was no longer using to those that was coming up behind me concerning being a producer and music development and all of this sort of stuff. So I would if I wasn't using it, that became the tradition. I don't know how much they carried it forward beyond that, but I know I did it quite a bit, with stuff that that faded out of my usefulness because I moved on to something else. You know, Teddy would do that with me with quite a few of the things that he had.
Yeah,
Some of that stuff I still have, believe it or not, I do. Um, but yeah,
Next year's the
so
35th anniversary of Hard and Smooth. Any plans for an anniversary album?
mm, well, there weren't any plans for it. We didn't even realize it was 35 already. We didn't even realize that. So there wasn't no plans for it. It's a good, it's a good point to make though.
At least I think you can get your masters back. I think is that not after 35 years?
Yeah, yeah. We need to deal with that.
Okay. And he was okay. He's saying about the album cover. It was no diss. He was saying
no,
that
no, yeah, we
yeah,
didn't
it
take it.
was
We
his
didn't
Oh
take
no,
it
no,
as
no. We didn't take that remark like that. We didn't
yeah,
take
yeah.
his
He was saying
remark
it was
like
his
that.
favorite. It was his favorite. Yeah, he was saying it was his
Yeah,
favorite.
no, that was not even directed at his remark. It
Yeah.
was just an his remark led to an opportunity to just make things clear for those that may not be aware because of the vibrancy of that EP cover, people don't know the difference. They see that name, they heard of the name, they heard of the brand, and then they see that and then they draw the connection thinking that that's going to lead to, or that must be a reflection of what they heard.
Mm,
And so I was just making it clear that that's a different, that's pre, there's pre and then there's post,
mm.
that sort of thing
Um,
concerning us.
why did you have two album covers for this? What was the story behind that? There was this cover and then there's this cover.
The other one wasn't ready, and the one that we took the pictures for wasn't ready. And
right.
Gene, being a hustler that he was, and his whole thing was like, "Listen, man, we gotta. It's time for this joint to drop, and we not holding it up for no picture." I can't, yo. I remember that clearly. It wasn't ready. The photo shoot wasn't ready. The release timing landed before the readiness of the photos, and so we do that, but as it happened, we had to circle back and do a reprint, of the subsequent records. But Gene wasn't slowing down business because a picture wasn't available.
That makes sense. And I've just realized this. I didn't realize there was a hype sticker on this. Do you mind if I just read this? It says, so this is what the hype sticker looks like. It's sealed. I don't know if you won't be able to see that, but I'm just going to try and read it. It says, the deaf sensation on the street coming to you live from Wreckx-N-Effect, featuring New Jack Swing, the fresh hit single, and the start of a serious new sound, plus the hits Juicy, Leave, Leave the Mic, Smoking, and Wipe Your Sweat. I love that, man. That's a cool hype sticker, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
that goes to
Yeah.
show you he was the start of New Jack Swing.
Yeah, that is. Look at that, man.
well,
Wow.
well, following up from Gene, Colin asks, "Gotta be a leader track. Did you all feel uneasy about dissing Gene?"
Let me start because I know you're gonna draw it out. You're gonna drag it out. Let me just give you my short version of it. No, at the time. No, at the time because we was caught up in our feelings. Uh, as time go by, it was uncalled for because it really didn't have nothing to do with us.
Hmm.
It really didn't have nothing to do with us. personally. Now, family wise, yes, but personally, no. Gene was a good person to us, So that's my answer, my short answer. Yes and no at the time, but as we go on, I have tremendous respect for Gene. So that's me. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I echo that from the vantage point of at the time, we felt that that was, we stood on it because that was the outlook, and I did what I believed in at that time, so I don't regret any of that. I wouldn't even go as far as saying that from the vantage point of it didn't have anything to do with us. For me, it did because whatever whatever allegedly was going on with Teddy had to also be going on with us was the way that I looked at it because
Mm.
Teddy wasn't the only person that was generating money. We had things and we had money being made as well, not as much as Teddy, but we had things being, so and then regardless of that, if it affect him, it affected us. And just from it's on some G shit, fuck that. You know what I mean? It's like so I don't regret any of that.
Mm.
Yeah.
My the difference in my position is from a greater sense of understanding now.
Mm.
And the way that I honor Gene is I wouldn't perform those things. I wouldn't say those things on today's terms because I know more.
Mm.
What I knew then, I did according to what the extent of my understanding was. So I stand on what I did. And I don't have a problem with that. I can own that. Me and Gene went on to have amazing relationship, man. Just like me as a young man, him as a older seasoned guy. But our rapport became rock solid, and years beyond that, on a personable level and all of this stuff, man. Just just a solid guy. So much so that there were things that I found out in terms of his personality type that I wasn't even able to know back then because we were too young. Even at that time, when we did that, I was 17 when
Mm.
we did that particular project. Um, so I didn't know, I mean, I knew a little bit, but we moving off of the energy of what we were told, and that had, its fractional value to it. So, for me later on, just learning more about that situation and learning more about him and, as an individual, man, it just made me say, okay, well, that was what it was. If he's big enough to look past
Mm.
those positions that we took and move on and still be willing to embrace us and embrace me despite what was said about him, then I can be, you know, honorable enough to say I'm gonna put those words to rest and let them be what they were
Mm.
and not represent those things anymore. So his life and his contribution to ours is worth more. Um, than me standing on those things today. The turmoil that brought it about, like everything that happened back then, whatever those details are, that music lives with that time.
Mm.
And just as those things were real, that music is real, and it's all back there. You know what I mean? But we moved on and became more.
Was Total Control also about Gene as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That was that was
precisely
that,
what
that
it
was
was about.
based on how we felt.
Mhm.
I
It's
mean,
just that it's just let me say this. That's a great question. Let me say this. The reason why you're able to ask that question as precise as we know that direction was concerning that song, you're able to ask that because it was written in such a way that it was generalized. And the theme of that thing wasn't isolated to us. And it's
Mm.
and that's what I love about the fact that you even asked that question, because it opens the door to understanding that, and maybe people need to hear this. We are this industry, the literal industry was built by gangsters. I'm not talking about no hyperbole. I'm not no mobsters started the music industry on the heels of bootlegging and all of this stuff. This is their brainchild to monetize musicians, monetize music. The music industry was never supposed to benefit artists more than it did benefit the business people, right? This is the foundations of all of this stuff. Along the way, you realize, hold up, man, this is not fair. So the evolution is, how do you make circumstances better as time goes forward? And so what that means is you keep that in mind, and then you move forward, and things are getting incrementally better along the way. So whatever Gene was accused of doing, guess what? That was a damn industry standard along the way with a lot of people. Maybe some was getting done worse than others, but Gene wasn't the only person. If any of that stuff was going on,
Mm.
you can't look at Gene and say, hey, Gene was a reflection of the his temperament of that time and the way things were done. We can look at our situation. What did we want when we came in? We wanted to make a record. Yeah, we wanted to get some money to make our situation better.
Mm.
Guess what? That's all we wanted. We didn't know how much the damn deal was for. Neither did we have access to secure the deal ourselves. Gene relationship secured that deal.
Mm.
So are we prepared to say, hey, I don't want this deal because Gene has a relationship with the lady at Atlantic Records that could give us the make us put us in a position to make the record we want, and we're going to just turn this whole situation. The reality is that hell no, we're not going to do that. What are we going to do? We're going to take the situation, we're going to make our record, we're going to get ourselves in a better situation. That's the facts. And anybody that says other than that is full of shit. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And this is the theme that was going on across the board. Nobody was prepared to say, I'm not willing to move the needle forward of my life simply because everything is not worked out the way that we want it to be. All you could do as time goes on, things, like I said, things get incrementally better, and some people are treated better. And obviously, we artists that came out after us, we hear some of the deals that these guys got and how they be like, wow, those guys are doing great. You know what I'm saying? And you now it's like no comparison, but it's important to keep in focus that it was never about things being fair. That's a fantasy that's in our minds, that it was never based on fair.
Mm.
It was based on, you with this or not. And most of the time the answer was, yeah, we with this in order to move forward. And then obviously as you go and you get stronger, you have to put up with less and less of that. And
Mm.
this is why on today's terms you got great organizations like BMAC that are forcing the needle forward in terms of change for black people and
Mm.
black artists in a way, because it's always been embedded in the industry to treat people unjustly, to treat artists unjustly. This shit is systematic, baked into the infrastructure of how things have always been. So all you can do is move forward and start changing it little by little by little by little. And you take what you could get, obviously back then, and then you move forward. So all I'm saying is that Gene was absolutely a product of where things was at that time. I don't know what Gene did. I'm not saying what he did and what he didn't do, but
Mm.
what I'm saying is that there was a whole lot of gangsters moving around the industry. There was just a modern day version of it but you better believe he had some gangsters himself to tend with because Gene was producing records long before we thought about making any damn records. And there was some other gangsters that was moving when he was doing his thing.
Mm.
And I'm sure he ran into some scenarios himself. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So it's just important to keep things in their proper perspective and look at things from a vantage point of what was really going on and what was the zeitgeist of the day, opposed to before you be so quick to point at somebody and say, "Oh, look at this person. That person is a crook."
Mm.
Nah, look at the whole thing. This whole thing is crooked. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like that's what's really going on. And crooked is the standard. So let's call a standard the standard and not isolate people like and vilify any one individual like
Mm.
they would have they would have odd one out. No, they weren't. Everybody was doing it, their version of that.
Mm.
Publishing companies, everybody taking advantage of, oh, come to sign the West and da 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 da. You're giving people these little shoestring budgets and then you own their shit for the rest of what's that part? How come
Mm.
that don't get called out? You own everything that they write in perpetuity, and what you give them? $35,000, $25,000.
Mm.
How is that any different? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But stuff like that don't get called out. So I'm just pointing out that that's what it was. All of that. So don't isolate. You can't isolate him.
He
Markell,
went
what,
deep.
what,
He went deep into it. But my thing with Jay was like a father figure to for me. You know what I'm saying? And I had many of them, especially in Harlem. So for him, uh, for him to for him and Teddy to break up like they did, it kind of hurt. You know what I'm saying? So when you got friends, when you got homeboys, and they feeling that hurt, you feel that hurt with them. So you kind of like
Mm.
side with them, even though that hurt don't really have nothing to do with you.
Mm.
And Teddy was hurt. Teddy was hurt. And I don't mean just his feelings. I mean financially, everything. He was hurt, and it
Mm.
also put my family in a situation where we were hurt. Because at that time, my brother had retired my mother, and we had moved into a house that Gene had bought for uh uh Teddy, Aaron, and Damien. Like he got three houses for them. And uh when it was found out that the houses wasn't in their names, and the funds that you was trying to get, you can't get, thinking that you may have it. And it might not be, it might have been there, and it might not have been there.
Mm.
So uh we wasn't forced to move out the house. We left out the house because Teddy didn't want to have nothing to do with the house if it wasn't going to be in his name.
Mm.
So that put us in a situation where we moved back to New York
Wow.
from Georgia. See, we was in Atlanta before Atlanta was Atlanta.
Mm. Mm.
Uh, uh,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I was.
so we came back up there. Teddy had to move with a friend. We went back in the projects, which was fine. I never left. I just went down with him to see the house. But to see my mother go through that,
Mm.
it was a hurt that was going through there. But it was something that we could get over, and we got over it. Because that's when the Michael Jackson project popped up, and all the other stuff was popping up. So money was still coming. It was just coming directly to him now instead of
Mm.
going to Gene. So other than that, we almost had it resolved. But them two being big headed and one saying I'm not doing this and the other one saying I'm not doing this couldn't happen. Because we sat down at my house. It was my house, right, Aqil?
No, it was my house, but you're right that we almost had it resolved, man. I ain't gonna hold you. We was looking forward to it. We were both looking forward to putting that behind us. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In
I
terms
mean,
of them too, because they were a great pair in
yeah,
terms of Gene's business savvy and obviously Ted's genius
music
with
production.
the music.
Mm.
His music savvy, man. They just I don't know, they complemented each other in a very unique way in terms of the right. thing. And you may not ever be able to relate to this the way that we can, because we were there as kids to see the trajectory of what GNR was doing in such a short window of time. Do you remember that there was a damn $90 million deal on the table with the Japanese before, shortly before the company split? Mark, I don't know if you remember that this was a talk that was just circulating around the office, and like to see that one room office that we had on 57th Street, 250 Broadway, and then to go around the corner over to the co-ops, and then there was several rooms in a co-op in that co-op building, or condos, whatever that was, and then from there to end up right across the street from the
MCA.
Empire State Building, adjacent to the Empire State Building,
Wow.
Fifth Avenue. This is a very short window of time I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah,
think
it was.
about it. It don't take long to figure this out because company split late 89 going into 90,
Mm.
certainly early 90 at the very latest. And this had this all start around sometime in 80, I mean 86, 87, 86 at least groundwork was being made. 87 for sure things is in motion. So everything that I said happened in that little window of time. This guy mine is at work making this happen. And so for us to be along the ride, to be the kids along the ride, witnessing all of this stuff at this level of an explosion, is like, yo, these guys are like, this is one hell of a pair. It was phenomenal. It's phenomenal to move like that in that little window. Is just mind blowing. So,
Gene, Gene,
we were
Gene,
really looking forward to that.
yeah, Gene freed Teddy Mind of just being a musician.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not too many musicians out there that could do business and music.
Mm.
You know, excuse my language, but that shit is hard.
Mm.
You know, to be focused on music at that level and to do business, you have to have. I don't care who it is out there, who's big or not. You have to have business partners behind you.
Yeah.
And Gene handled business well. Gene handled business well, whether it was with an iron fist or with the pen. He handled business very well, and he was respected. Now I ain't gonna sit here and say Gene was a bully in the industry. He wasn't no bully in the industry. It's just that people
Nah, he
respected him.
wasn't.
Gene really
Yeah,
was respected,
yeah.
Are
and
you
I
guys
don't know. Huh? Say that again.
carry on? No, carry on, carry on.
No, I was going to just say that was a respect of his business and Teddy music. People wanted that music, and people wanted to do good business with somebody,
Yeah, I
and
was.
you put those two together, and that's what you had. But with them split up, it became chaos. Like it was there, we had good business, but it was just too many people controlling it. Like being at Interscope, and Interscope telling you, "Hey, you need to focus on Black Street," but
Mm.
you're dealing with a super producer though. So and everybody wants something from him.
Mm.
So and that's what stopped like a lot of his production work. But that's neither here nor there. We're not on Teddy. We're on Wreckx-N-Effect.
I was just going to ask, are you guys in touch with Donna and Bahia, the family, Gene's family? Because they're good people, man.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
for
I see
sure.
Donna. I see Donna every now and then when I go to Atlanta. She hang out with my sister-in-law. They still really cool. Uh, so
Yeah, it's
every
about
time,
time we catch up. I ain't speak to her in a while, but we certainly have been in touch over the years, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
Big Don is there.
I was very surprised when I saw she was trying to put out the Gene Griffin documentary, and I saw Aqil talking on it, and I thought, what? It was almost like,
Mhm.
has he crossed over? What's happened?
No, it ain't
I,
about crossover. It's
yeah,
that I stand on as much as I love Teddy. What's factual about Gene is also factual about Gene. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's not it's beyond when it comes to those two, it's beyond at this phase in life. You know, and I personally just feel like they ultimately ended up in an unfair split because a wedge was absolutely pushed between those two guys, man. And if it, I don't know, maybe I would feel a little bit different if it wasn't for that factor, but that's a fact that a wedge was deliberately pushed between them two.
Yeah,
And because of that, I just find it important to, it'll never mean any, any disregard or disrespect towards Teddy. Without question, I would never come from that vantage point. But just from a basis of being what's fair towards Gene, we gotta do that because I know beyond shadow of a doubt, I don't know, I'm not gonna get into that monetary thing because I don't know what Gene was doing
Mm.
concerning the money that was coming in. I don't know if in his mind somewhere uh he was not being upright or whether or not he was saying, I'm not going to let him mess up all his damn money. It could have been
yeah.
either one. You
That's
know
why
what
I
I'm
said.
saying?
That's why I said the money may have been there, it may have not been there.
Yeah,
You know,
and this is the thing. So I ain't getting into I'm not going to get into that part of it because it could have been either one and for all I know, but I know as strongly that he would have been equally concerned knowing, think about Teddy's age at the time, man. Think about our age and then just think about Teddy's age. Just several years, just a few, older than us. Somebody, if you give a damn about somebody, may very well try to protect you from yourself. So we got to be honest about the likeliness of whether or not we would have done the right things concerning our finances if
right.
we did have all of them. Case in point, if you mentioned Big Donna is single-handedly responsible for us knowing what having a bank account. We had a requirement. You want to keep getting your money, open a bank account, and you gotta come down here with your checkbook every week and show me how much money you saved.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
Big Donna. This was a mandate from her in order for us to continue receiving our weekly money
Oh.
because their thing was you're not going to mess up your money. So I don't know where this whole thing was coming from. I don't know what, and maybe he did do. I don't know, but
Mm.
what I do know is that he loved this guy beyond measure, and there was nothing that he wouldn't do for Teddy on Teddy's behalf if Teddy ever found himself in a situation. I noticed at their worst of times because it's the times when me and Gene got close. And I shared this before. His personality concerning Teddy, I could feel the love in
Mm.
him for him that's missing. So I know his temperament. So I know the extent that he would have went to for Teddy if Teddy had ever made a call and said, "Listen, this is the situation." So long as he was able to do anything, and so long he was capable, that situation, one way or another, would disappear.
Mm.
So we gotta be fair about that,
right.
concerning him. So you saw what you saw because I stand on that as strong as I stand for what Teddy means to me. You know, I'm not going to play that as strongly as I stood with, when I believed what I believe. Okay, well, you see the light, you walk therein. You know what I mean? You can't continue to stand on something that you have found cracks in. You know what I mean? So we ain't gonna pretend like that's all that it is and all that it was. We got to balance the thing out where balancing is necessary. So that's what that's about. Whatever the overall narrative is and all of that kind of stuff, man, you got somebody that's trying to swing for the the honor of their loved one. You know what I'm saying? So if Namdi, if that's where you're coming from concerning just the idea
Documentary, yeah.
of Donna doing that. This is her loved one. You know what I mean? That's being, that she feels is, my loved one is being smeared, and I know that he's worth more than that. You know what I'm saying? And so all I could do, and all that I'm willing to do, is honor the portion that I can represent, that
Mm.
I know, concerning the things that, listen, man, look at, here's some of this guy's high notes. I'm not going to shelter his high notes. Who would I, what would I be to shelter, to hide his high notes? Because, the thing is to put a mic, to put a megaphone or a microscope on his low notes. Nah, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna keep it a buck, we're gonna keep it tall about all things, or we're gonna leave it alone altogether. And just so happen he means enough to me.
Mm.
When my life was on the line, both of them made their way to see me. You know what I mean? Gene and Teddy. They talking about I was gonna be wrapped up in the hospital. I was back in '04. You know what I mean? And it was a very, very grim situation. And both of them made their way. You know what I'm saying? Him and Teddy. And Gene was dealing with slight, early, dementia, before the Alzheimer's things settled in. So, you know, whatever those differences are, man, whatever led to it, like I said, because there was a wedge that was drawn between them. If it was during that time, obviously, as Mark was speaking of, a way to kind of reconcile,
Mm.
and get them on the same page. And I'll say this part in closing. I find it highly unlikely that if Teddy ever went to Gene, and I'm gonna get off Teddy because it's ain't Teddy time, um, uh, and said, "Listen, man, if we can't, if I can't have everything going forward, or whatever it is that's mine, then we can't no longer do business." And Gene say, "Well, it can't be like that. We just can't no longer do business." I don't know that Gene.
Mm.
How about that? I don't know that person that would be willing to sink his whole damn ship because he would rather be underhanded and not receive anything versus getting his portion of what it is. So, you know, these are this is the temperament of the person that I'm talking about. And unfortunately, they didn't have the opportunity to well, they had the opportunity, but when it arose, as Mark was talking about, the circumstance didn't work out the way that we wanted it to work out. But it would have been ideal to finally get them on a page where, listen, bruh's grown.
Mm.
Gene know that. Teddy managed his own money. Whatever comes in for him is for him to sort out. You know what I'm saying? And then we go forward and we see how much it is that we could get with them two on the right page with
Mm.
one another. So those are my thoughts.
Yes. Okay. Markel,
Yes, sir.
um, Heavy D. I think we spoke a bit about him, but any cool stories that about Heavy D you could share? I think it was his birthday 2 weeks ago. It would have been his birthday, and we see the videos, we see him all. But for those of you guys who knew him behind the scenes, is any one thing that you'd share about him just to celebrate him?
Uh, man, Heavy D. It's a lot I could share about. I could tell the story about us driving up to Mount Vernon, Aqil, and almost
Ah,
dying.
man, listen, B, we could, hey,
Nah,
Mark,
but heavy, just heavy going up to Mount Vernon. Teddy taking me up there for the first time to meet him in the late '80s. I think it was a summer day, and it was a basketball tournament at Mount Vernon, and we went up there. He was outside because my sister in law is from New Rochelle, which is a town over from Mount Vernon. So while we was up there visiting her, we stopped at Mount Vernon to see Heavy, and everybody always looked at me as Little Teddy. And at that time, that's what he used to call me, Lil Teddy. Him and Mike Tyson used to call me Lil Teddy, and not knowing that I'm bigger than Teddy. Yeah, and then just
Yo,
being in
this
the
nigga, yo, B, you just reminded me of something. Somebody said that at Pop House one time, producer Pop. Some nigga from uptown. This nigga's like, yo, yeah, you little Teddy. I said, nigga, who the fuck you calling little Teddy? This shit just blew my mind. Like, I never heard that shit before. Yo,
yeah,
man, a rage went through, man. Who the fuck you calling little Teddy?
yeah.
Nigga, you better, nigga.
But at that time, like I'm 16, 15. I'm a young dude. So yeah, I'll be honest with you. At at a young age, being called Lil Teddy, that was a proud moment for me. To be
Yeah,
honest
this
with
was later on. This was
you.
later
Yeah,
on, Mark. So you already know.
I know
You
what
know
you
what I
saying.
mean?
I know what you're saying. But being Teddy, listen, I used to have times. Let me not get off of the question of Heavy D. Heavy D was a big bro. Uh, um, I remember, like I was just the story of us driving up to. We had a rental car. A big homeboy of ours rented a rental car for us, and it was the last day before we take it back. Turn it in. So
Was it a movie a day over?
no, it was the last night because we was like, yo, fuck it. I just got finished rolling dice. I won some money. And we was like, yo, we
Okay.
got the car. Brandon was upstairs at his house with Kim. So
Mm-hmm.
we was like, we got the car for the last day. What we gonna do? Let's go to White Castle. So we go as we was going to White Castle, we said, hey man, I don't know who said it, but it's like, yo, let's go to Mount Vernon and see where they shot the Money Earning Mount Vernon video at.
Nah, nigga, we was looking for girls, nigga. We was going up there for the chicks, and we wanted to do that. We wanted to do that, but we was going up there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. It was
we
always
wanted to go to Third Street. We wanted to go to Third Street because we want to see where they shot the video, and there's
right,
gonna be
right.
some chicks up there, nigga. That was the motivation.
So we get up there. I
And I'm
get
16 at the time. I'm 16, y'all. Go ahead, Mark.
I get lost in Mount Vernon. Even though I've been up there, I don't really know the streets like that. So I'm circling around the block. And after a while, when I couldn't find 6th Street, I was like, fuck, we go home. As
Third
we was
Street.
on 3rd Street, as we was leaving, I'm looking out the side mirrors of the car. I see dudes running around the corner, digging in the garbage can, pulling out shotguns and all this stuff. Aqil, you asleep.
I fell asleep. Yeah, I'm in the back. I'm in the back, sleep like a motherfucker.
Yeah, Aqil asleep until the chase came on. So they pulled up on us. They was like, yo, what y'all doing up here? It's like, what you mean? Because they cut me off. So they're like, what you mean what we doing up here? We came up here, to see some. So one thing led to another. They chasing us around Mount Vernon. I don't know where the highway is at. They start shooting at us.
I didn't even know you had dialogue with them. I must have still been asleep. I
Yeah,
don't. I don't remember that.
you went
Remember,
sleep until
I
we
ain't.
got on the highway, and you woke up
Yeah,
and you was
because
like, "Oh shit, this is fun."
yo, you crazy. You got a great memory because they hit the back of the car, and I
Right?
remember getting up saying that. Oh, this is fun.
Yeah. He got
This
up and
is
said, "Oh
fun.
shit, this is fun. What's going
Yeah,
on?" I said, "Yo, get the
yeah,
fuck down! They shooting at us." Now, mind you, we're in a
yo.
hatchback Toyota Corolla. This is when they made hatchbacks for
Mm.
Toyota. It was about 5 or 6 of us in that car.
No, it was only four.
No,
Me,
it was
you,
me,
Shep. Me, you,
Nut.
Butter, and two Shep. It was only two. It was only us four. Me, you,
You
Butter,
said
and two
Peanut
Shep.
wasn't on
Shep was
there,
in
not
the.
Nutter Butter, but Peanut.
Nah, me,
Okay,
you, Nutter Butter, and two Shep.
okay. So yeah, so I'm telling everybody get down, duck, 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 duck. Long story short, we got away, but the car didn't survive. The only thing that died in that situation was the car. Okay, so right after
Yo,
that,
and he giving y'all the summarized version of
Yeah,
the chase because that shit turned into Dukes of Hazard, and this is a driving motherfucker, man. This dude here, let me tell you something. If you think I'm put it like this, if you think I'm nice as an MC, that's what this nigga do behind that wheel. He different. Mark is different. Him and his brother, they both listen, they both different. And because of that incident, I would always, the conversation come up, who you think is better, and sometimes it has, who you think is nicer behind the wheel, Markell or Teddy. I say, listen, man, based on the situation, I'm going to have to go with Mark by default because I seen this work from a different point of view. They both highly talented behind the wheel, man. God did something special with them behind that wheel, man. Y'all ain't, I'm telling you, it's different. It's different. Them dudes behind the wheel is different. And he giving y'all the summarized version of his Dukes of Hazard antics, man. But those antics, yo, let me throw this in there. Do you remember when you got off the highway and you made that left turn and the left turn was in a dead end and
yeah,
then the car got stuck on this embankment and their car drove past us and started making a U-turn because they can't go nowhere either. But we stuck on the embankment. So you had to get off the embankment to get the car going again. I don't remember how the hell you did it, but it was done. And you made it back to the highway and gunning it again. Now I'm gonna tell the rest of the portion because he leaving out this stuff. This is his work. So now we back on the highway again. He sees them, they reloading,
Oh my
right?
god.
Yeah, they of course they reloading. Now mind you, he didn't tell you this either. Shortly after I got up, I was like, oh, this is fun. He was like, yo, get down, they shooting. We had shot, pop, pop, pop. The back window blows out. My head is down, but I'm looking up. I see half of the rear view mirror get shot off.
yeah. They shot half of the rear view
Yeah,
mirror off.
Oh my
half the rear view mirror. I watched like the rear view mirror went in half, and I saw it happen like bow, rear view mirror gone. I'm like, damn. Mark got to drive. He's holding up. And he's like, da, da, da. He does this Dukes of Hazard ass move, and they get alongside of us, and he took the steering wheel and went boom like this, right? He did the steering wheel like that, and it knocked them in such a way to where they went off somewhere. I don't know. I
Yeah, they
don't
went over
remember.
hit a
Wherever the
tree.
hell they
They went
went,
over hit a tree
yeah,
on the
they ran
highway.
into the tree area and all of that.
oh my
And he was
goodness.
like, and he just exclaimed like, yeah, like that. And it was just kind of like, okay, that's like a confirmation. Now, mind you, at this time, we riding on we riding on steel. The
Yeah,
tires from the
tires.
car that we was in, sparks is flying from under the car because there's no more tire on the wheels. It's all wheel on the concrete on the highway. So sparks is flying, but now they done got thrown off of the course. We got off the next exit, man, left that car,
We
hopped this fence,
hopped the fence
made
into
our
the
way.
Bronx
What we
Zoo.
cut through the Bronx Zoo?
Bronx Zoo. And the
The
security
Bronx
guard
Zoo,
was like,
yeah.
"Hey, y'all get your ass out of here." We said, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up."
we hopped that fence, man, and got out of there.
Yeah, but that I mean, my why I was saying that story was because it happened in Mount Vernon. Teddy called Heavy. Heavy found out what happened, and that's how I realized. I was told that a lot of cats from the Bronx was coming up to Mount Vernon and robbing people, so they thought we was those cats.
They thought that's what we was up there for.
Yeah. So heavy had squashed it, even though it wasn't nothing that was going back and forth. But he had squashed it. Yeah, heavy was like big bro. He always had our back, no matter any situation. But it wasn't like anybody Teddy worked with always looked at us like little brothers, like Kumo D, Dougie Fresh, uh, 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 who else he worked with? Johnny Kemp, Keith Sweat, all these people that always looked at us like their little brothers. So yeah, Heavy D was more than just an MC to us. To me, he was more like a big brother because he knew my sister-in-law family, so we were all kind of like family.
Wow.
I love Marco Crawford's response to that. He says, Wreckx-N-Effect in full effect.
Are you saying that you could have died though? Because this is this.
That's mad.
Wait.
Hey, listen, man, we was near death. If you was to see that car,
Yes.
if you was to see that car after that happened, you would have been asking yourself, how did they survive this? The car was like Swiss cheese because we had the guy that rented the car to us had to report the car stolen. And I don't even know if I should be saying this. He had to report the car stolen.
Yeah, at this rate, it don't matter.
Yeah, but he just honestly he just got cleared for it. He just got cleared like about a year.
Oh yeah.
They just started letting them rent cars again.
Oh wow.
This
Wow.
happened in the 90s, late like no, yeah, it was like
No, this is
88,
this was
88,
this was 88,
89.
89.
Yeah,
This was 89. I remember, yeah, because we were about to start working on the New Jack Swing album.
yeah. So yeah, if you would have seen that car, I wish they had camera phones there. I would have damn sure took a picture of that car.
The crazy thing, Mark, is I came across a picture of one of those. I gotta send the joint to you. I was gonna send it to you and go, yo, and just let you look at it and say, same color and everything.
Of the car.
Yep.
Wow.
Same color, everything.
It's fun. It's
That
fun
year, everything.
It's fun talking about it now, but I ain't gonna lie. I probably shot at my pants.
Yo, I remember this. They was like, it was a butter, them saying, butt into a man. I'm getting me some shoes. I'm going to church tomorrow.
Hey,
Yo.
We went to Wendy's and I don't know. Oh, you probably had money at the time, but I just won so much money. I mean, we not Wendy's. We went to White Castle.
White Castle.
Because that was the plan to go to White Castle. So when we jumped the fence and went through the Bronx Zoo, White Castle wasn't too far from it. So we went there. And it was like, we ain't got no money. I was like, fuck, I got all the money. Come on, we gonna go eat. So yeah, it was something that
it's nice that Heavy was able to resolve that the way he did.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like the amount of respect that man commanded.
Well, I mean, Heavy D at that time was like the mayor of Mount Vernon. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying Dougie Fresh is the mayor of Harlem.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He had that much respect in in Mount Vernon where, you know, he asked the question and whoever car it was, because it was two cars that was chasing us.
Wow.
When Aqil woke up,
I didn't even remember that. I remember the one.
It was two cars.
Man,
it was
that
two
one
cars
was...
and 8 people.
Wow.
Wow.
Because one car cut us off. Like I pulled up to the light was red, cut us off like that. But he gave me enough room. He left me enough room where I could go around. When she asked that question, and I replied back to her, I didn't give him enough time to ask another question or have any other action. So I just dipped out. Boom. And just cut. Went
had you come out with anything by this time? Had you come out with any albums, any tracks? Or
Yeah, the only thing that was done was the EP.
The first album. Yeah, the EP.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going into working on the New Jack Swing album.
Oh, they didn't know who you say they would have known. Okay. Damn.
No, they didn't. They didn't know. They didn't know who we were or who we were affiliated with.
You know what, Mark? You're right. Because you know what? Because I remember having on I had on my Dapper Dan shit from that damn Let's Do It Again video. I had on that damn Dapper Dan jacket. I had on my chain. I was, I had on that Dapper Dan shit. And that means that it was closer to that EP. That's why I'm saying that because it was
No,
closer
the
to
EP was done. The
the
EP was
EP was
done.
done. That's what I'm saying. It was closer to after that happened than it was to us completing the we maybe like a middle space. You know what I mean? So after the EP, going into New Jack Swing.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness.
No, and I'm just saying that just remembering, how outfits kind of help you remember around about the time.
Was not a butter. Was he in the car? Because you mentioned
Yeah,
butter.
Butter was in the
Yeah,
car. He was in the car.
Nut was in the car. Nut was in the car.
He, Tone asks, what made you guys put him on? And so, how long have you known Not a Butter? Because I think I only knew about him from the Blackstreet album, but it sounds like you guys have known him for a long time.
Yeah, Nut lived right across the street from us.
Oh,
Like Nut
Hmm.
lived right. He was a part of a group. What was the name of the group with him and Esther Bess?
STP, Sean
uh,
Toot Peanut.
Yeah. So it was two MCs and a DJ, and both of them was talented. But Nut was a writer too. So um that's when he started off doing writing, and then he developed his own project. He didn't want
okay.
to separate from Sean at the time, so he didn't care to do a solo album at the time.
My goodness,
So
BJ.
yeah.
No, just I'm just looking at some other questions. Do you remember we were talking about that other rapper in on the Dangerous album? I
Hmm.
Three people mentioned it. It was Bill Bottrell.
Bill Betrayal. Okay.
And that's a
Okay.
big name. I mean, he's quite a big part of that project as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That project.
But he's not. Not to say anything negative. He wasn't no real rapper at the time, though,
No,
right?
no, no.
Right.
No.
See,
He- he's a serious musician. I mean, next level talent. But
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
like a keyboard player, producer, all of a sudden just saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm just going to do the rap." That's how it came across.
Right. Right.
A rap that we could have protection for Gas Clubs of Nation.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was it.
Those are the lyrics, Namdi. You know
Yeah.
the lyrics.
They- They're calling it Dukes of Harlem. And they said it's better than the chase is better than the end of Uptown Saturday Night because it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound real. It
And
just
you had
sounds
to be.
crazy.
Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
and it's very real. And here's the crazy thing. I wish I could say that that's the only story. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I really wish I could say that, man, but it's far from it. The stories get, they dynamic, man. They
Yeah.
dynamic.
Oh,
And
goodness.
not all like, not,
No, and
we was in
almost
that situation, but you get the point.
Markell, any fun stories about Bobby? Who, we when you look, he just finished the tour with New Edition, and he did his little moves, and he says, "You want to see more? Go Google me," because it's like, yeah, I can't do the moves anymore, but go Google me. You see how good I was. uh,
So,
and he's an
mhm.
icon for in the black community, because no one
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
ever forget the prerogative and stuff, but both of you guys, Mark, I'll start with you. Any fun stories about Bobby?
Man. One time we was in a club in Atlanta. I don't know if it was Atlanta or LA, and we was shooting pool, and Bobby came in the club. Bobby came in the club. Now we was known to gamble a lot too, like roll dice. And one time while we was working in Virginia, we gamble, and it would be, but Bobby come in the club, he jump on the pool table, throw his money down. Let's bet, let's gamble. So stories like that where you know he just had to have that attention. But it was just Bobby though. It was just Bobby. He's more calm now, as you would see. But if you knew Bobby back then, Bobby was always that rah rah. He was he was he was different from New Edition that I know of.
Mm.
But see, I didn't know them all the rest of them like I knew Bobby. So and not only that, working with him at the studio, just like Michael, he liked to dance. He he'd sit in the back. He'd sit in the background, ad lib to everything that that's playing, like he's writing in his head or something. Uh, Bobby liked the party. Bobby liked the party. Uh, I used to love to see him and Whitney together.
Hmm.
It was always an adventure to see them in the studio together. I ain't gonna disclose anything, but they had fun together. They was always loving on each other like you would think that they was over exaggerating
Wow.
their love, but they loved each other. I know he loved her. I know she loved him.
Mhm.
But yeah, Bobby was a fun person. I mean, everybody that we work with, I don't feel like anybody Teddy worked with that I've been around was like a asshole, or a
There must
person that.
have been, man. There must have been. You don't have to say it, but there must have been somebody that you didn't
No,
get along.
I'm trying to tell you, we I had fun around a lot of people. Only person I've never been around that Teddy worked with was Boy George.
Mm.
And that's probably one person I would have liked to see that too, because
Mm.
just seeing him on MTV and
Mm.
just seeing the type of person he is, I would have liked to experience his
Mm.
presence.
Oh,
Uh,
oh,
uh,
what about you, Akil? And any Bobby's fun stories? Because as I said, black icon.
Mm,
you should have some because y'all
no.
you do shows with him and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of a story, and nothing really comes to mind. Just one vague thing comes to mind during the recording of that album that I can't even really act it out. What he was discussing and what he did in this situation, but it was just one of those moments that go, okay, this nigga Bobby is crazy, man. It was absolutely one of those situations, and the shit was funny as hell. It was just a funny occurrence, and he was just sharing a backstory with an encounter that he had, and how he chose to deal with the situation, and he just did this movement that was like something that you wouldn't think that somebody would do in that situation. So I ain't gonna go all
Yeah.
it would be to it would become a drama for me to try to reenact
Yeah.
what it was, but all in all, the point is that spirit
Mm.
is just Bobby's personality is so raw, and I believe I shared this with y'all before in terms of him just being such a transparent, regular individual. And I just always appreciate that when I encounter people like that, to that degree, because everybody can be, but he has this like a few other people has this extra degree of, listen, man, this is what it is, this is what you're gonna get, like it or not, deal with it. You know what I mean? And that's what I enjoy most about, the times that we've been around one another, is because it's consistent. That's what you're gonna get, no cards under the table.
I
Bobby's
can say
coming as
this.
Bobby.
I can say this about Bobby. The person that he was back then, I enjoy being around, and the person that he is now, I enjoy being around.
Mm.
The energy, like he was he enjoyed life back
Mm.
then. Everything that was given to
Hmm,
him, all that.
hmm, hmm,
But now
hmm.
you can see the adult Bobby, like the
Mm.
father
Family
Bobby,
man.
the
Yeah.
uncle Bobby, and maybe grandfather
Yeah,
Bobby.
that's dope.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
So
Hmm, hmm.
Bobby is just two different people now.
That track that you guys did with him that couldn't get the clearance. Could you guys, do you still have it? Because I mean, how would it have been? Because you couldn't get the clearance, but would it have been a hot song?
The content on there with Eddie Kendricks. family, that the content of that song just wasn't gonna be. They felt the way. They're like, listen, man, y'all not doing all that crazy shit on my on my family member music. Y'all talking wow. Y'all ain't
Yeah,
putting that on there. Particularly at the time, that was pretty much like the energy of the why that occurred that way. But it was still dope to be able to work with Bobby because him being as he was, Bobby's, Mark, he's the rapper that got caught and trapped in the R&B body
yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah,
personality. You know what I'm saying? Like Bobby is hip hop. He's hip hop that got.
yeah.
He's just. He got his life path turned into an R&B world, but his soul,
Mm,
everything about his soul is this guy is hip hop. At his core. And so when he heard an opportunity present itself where he could take part in that, Bobby loved to be able to spit a rhyme. You know what I mean? So he was like,
Yeah.
man, listen, I need in. I want in on that.
Like
So,
Getaway. His rap on Getaway was more of a freestyle
wow.
versus of something that he wrote. And I don't know if it was like, yo, we gonna keep that.
Mm,
That's what it was more like. So,
wow.
like you said, Bobby is a rapper caught in the R&B body.
Yeah, but as I said, the you guys don't have the track that he did, or as that.
No, anything like that'd be future recording studio Teddy.
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, and I would have to look, if I have that, I have to go through stuff and see. I can't call it off offhand if I
Yeah,
have that joint. But I just
Agent.
came across so much stuff, man, that
Oh,
you know, yeah,
And
I came across a lot of things that's just from that time period. And I was going through stuff back in Saint Nick, just clearing out things, man. There's a lot of stuff, man. I'm gonna get one of those the 12 track, and Teddy gave me two. He gave me his 4 track, and he gave me the 12 track too when he stopped using that joint. Because you remember he had the 4 track Mark, the tan one. I
Uh-huh.
still got a picture of that joint. The tan 4 track, that was during the I Wanna season. And then he moved to the 12 track when the first Guy album came along, the 1212, the six MG 614, and then the MG 1212. And those tapes from that, I still got those joints with I Need Money and Go For What You Know and all of that stuff, and him,
You got all
his
that?
writing on it. Yeah, I still got those tapes. I still got the original tapes that we recorded. Um, I Need Money, Go For What You Know, and all of that stuff. I still got those.
wow.
But those tapes, those were those Betamax tapes.
Uh-huh.
And so they can only be played in that, in something I could, read that audio. So I'm gonna end up getting I'm gonna get a 1212 just for that purpose. It's worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those joints just so I need to hear that. I need to hear I need to experience that multi-track, you know, going back to 15 years old. I need to hear that. But yeah, I got it.
Yeah, Markel, that's a lovely T-shirt you're wearing. Can you
Oh
show your
yeah, for sure.
nice T-shirt? That's a good-looking T-shirt.
I was waiting to find the perfect time to wear it.
It's a good time, man.
Man, I got to check for mine. I don't know if I got. When did you sent mine, V?
You got yours, yeah, a while back, man. You should have got it at the same
I
time.
don't know, man. I don't know. Somebody may have gotten me because the last I checked, I had, and I'll look. I don't know if something got twisted up in the mail, but
No,
for sure, I've looked since we've spoken about
yeah,
that,
it's all good. If
and it
it's there,
wasn't anything new.
I'll get another one sent out. But
All right, I'm gonna look into it though and let you know for certain.
cool.
But
We were trying to keep this to a couple of hours. So did you
mhm.
guys want to say anything else? Do you want to anything you wanted to share with your fans and that? But from my point of view and Namdi's as well, I think it's great that you've done this. We're very grateful that you've done this. I know a lot of people had lots of questions today. So much so we couldn't even keep up. You guys couldn't even keep up. But that's a good thing. So did you guys have any thoughts that you wanted to share with fans of Wreckx-N-Effect?
No, I'm in question and answer mode. I don't, nothing in particular stands out for me.
Yeah. We can answer some more questions if you got time. If y'all got time.
Go for it.
Okay, Dwayne asks, if you could go back, would you have released the Wreck Shop remix as a single? I saw the video, but it wasn't in the stores.
Hell yeah, that joint would have been. I don't know what was on MCA mind not releasing that as a single. I don't even know how that folly happened because I don't think they released that. I don't think people had access to that on vinyl until Rap's New Generation album happened. Like, what the fuck is that?
Really?
Like, that's 3 years later.
So we shot a video for it. They didn't release it as a single.
It was that version was never a single. That was just the video version.
Okay.
It was always just the video version. That question would come from DJs a lot, at that time. Yo, how can I get that? And I was dumbfounded by it too. Like, I just wouldn't have expected that to happen, especially with this.
In the UK, though, did the video version get released as a single?
I think it was on. Let me just show you. So there is. This was the single, right? Now this had 4 mixes on it. You had the Jamaica mix, Posse Deep mix, Club Dub, and Vocapella. The 12-inch, the release 12-inch, only had the Jamaica mix, Blacker mix, and Club Dub. This was the one that people wanted. This is promo 12. And
is that the one with the saxophone?
This has all of them, I believe. It's called Teddy Mix with Fade. Then there's a Posse Deep mix, Jamaica mix, album version. And on the other side, you've got the Blacker mix, Club Dub, the Vocapella, and the Jazzstrumental. But I think the mix in question, if I'm not mistaken, I could be. I think it's the Teddy Mix with Fade. I think.
See, that's one thing about Europe, though. Y'all get extra.
And Japan as well, though.
Yeah.
Japan's a different planet. They get everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overseas, like America, we just get whatever. But overseas, y'all get. I don't. I'll leave that up.
I think the DJs here would. So with the record stores here, they would have got maybe 50 promos. So 50 copies of the record. They'd allocate that to 10 or 15 DJs that had to have it, that would play it. Then there's 35 other collectors, probably in the whole of London, say, for example, a city like London, that have got 35 copies that they've got to get. And that's not a lot, is it? And they might have another 50 in another country, another city or another city as well. Not very many copies at all. So most people didn't get it.
They said Harvey, what's that? Elston?
Harvey Austin.
Harvey Austin.
Okay. What was
Rest in peace, Harvey Austin.
Yeah.
Was it the guy with the deep voice I keep hearing about?
Yep.
Yeah, like a little raspy. Yeah. Harvey was one of Teddy managers. He was Teddy manager after Jay.
Okay.
I other than that, Harvey was a great dude. Harvey was special. I mean, everybody that we had, man, I enjoyed being around all of them guys.
And Harvey's voice was so damn funny, man. He was so he came to me in a Future parking lot one day and was like, Aqil, let me talk to you a minute, man. This is when Blackstreet was on the way. Harvey was so crazy. He gonna tell me, Teddy need to rethink this shit. I don't know. That motherfucker Chauncey, he can't sing. And that popcorn, now he talking about butter, right? He telling me, and that popcorn, he can't rap. I said, Harvey, what the fuck you talking about? I don't know. He Teddy need to rethink this shit, man. I don't. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay. Teddy don't know what he's doing. Okay. But his voice was always so funny, man. His voice
Harvey is
was, he got mad at me once. Yo, Mark, he got mad at me one time because he called me into, remember he had the deposition? He was doing something trying to get Teddy in trouble for some shit. And he called they had a deposition, and he figured to tell his attorneys they could call me over at the circle thing, whatever fucking place was down in Virginia. So I go to the deposition, and they asking me all these questions, and they starting on just trying to veer me down the road of telling them shit that's going to be helpful to them about Teddy. And I guess Harvey felt him calling because sometimes me and Teddy could have our creative tumultuous times and shit. So I guess in his mind he felt that, yeah, I'm gonna get Aqil, da 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 da. So he called me, so I go over there. And they start asking me shit, man. I start spinning these motherfuckers every which way but loose. Because I'm not telling you, I'm not giving you anything that's gonna help you do any motherfucking thing to Teddy. And Harvey mind was blown. Cause he thought, I don't know what put this in his mind that he had an ace with me. I
Yeah.
don't whatever got that in I. So he had to be feeding off what he thought the energy was. But what situations like that, man, what people didn't understand is that even if we are having a one-on-one difference, that don't give you no motherfucking invite. You know what I'm saying? To our situation and get me to say anything or him vice versa to get on your side. Concern that ain't happening. We still know who we are to one another. So after the whole thing was over, man, he was just mind blown, and he said, "I kill. Why you lie like that, man? Why?" Yo, he was so tight with me, man, because he thought I was going to give him some pointers or give his attorney some pointers. I'm not giving y'all shit. You must be crazy, man. That's still a big homie. I don't give a fuck what we going through.
Yeah.
They ain't got nothing to do with you.
To be honest with you, I don't know what the split was. As far as Teddy and Harvey. Harvey, I just know it was there. And it was,
Yeah, I don't remember either, man. I don't know. That was just,
but as far
shit,
as that,
that was my finding out about it, that situation.
Harvey was a fun person to be around. Like everybody we had around us,
Mm.
were fun people. Like Harvey handled his business just like Jade, but he wasn't. His presence wasn't as aggressive like as Jade. Like
Hmm.
Jade will intimidate you with his, because he come in looking sharp, clean, bald head, thick, mobster, gangster mustache, you know, bow legged and all that. He coming in there. He coming in there looking tough. Harvey coming in with his big ass. Hey, you motherfuckers gonna take care of Teddy. You like, ain't nobody taking that shit serious with you, man. You ain't fighting
Yeah.
nobody. You ain't doing nothing to
You
nobody.
survived Gene Griffin. Yeah, we're not afraid of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
catch G, you be like, damn, I got to do it up. You look at Harvey, you like, man,
I'll be back
shit.
in two. Back in 2 minutes.
Hey, what did you guys make of the Pharrell and Chad? Did you know them when they first came out? Did you think they were
Yeah, yeah,
talented?
yeah, 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 yeah. They was. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened with them. I don't know the story of why they not working together, or if they are working together.
No,
But
no,
I can tell you
yeah, they split. But I'm talking about when they were when they first came to you guys' attention.
what about it. Like
No,
that.
yeah. What did you know that? Did you feel like these guys are different?
Oh, I felt they was different. I knew they was different.
I did. Their talent was so apparent that it wasn't even a question. It was never a question about whether or not those guys were talented, man, because they wore their talent on their sleeve. Like they were just always about it.
Yeah,
They were always
they was
about it
ready. They was
creatively.
always ready. Yeah, they was always ready.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, if you ask them to bring you a track, they bring you 10.
Wow.
You ask them to write something, they done wrote 4 or 5 songs. But it
Wow.
was always I see. I don't know if Pharrell was doing a lot or if Chad was doing a lot because whatever they came with it together.
Mm.
Like if you see them in the studio working, they was working together. So and that's not to say that Pharrell is getting credit for Chad work or Chad is getting credit for Pharrell work. You just would never knew they were just that tight as a team. And it
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean,
it just wasn't Pharrell and Chad. It was I forgot the other dude name.
Mike,
Chase or
Mike
not Mike
Edwards.
E. Not Mike E was there, but he done split up by it was three of them. It was three. Damn, what's the third dude name,
Oh, the
man?
guy that rapped. That was part of
Yeah,
NERD.
yeah.
Okay.
It was
Is his name Rob too? Not obviously not the homie Rob the manager. I'm talking about the
nah. That's not his name. But
uh
Tammy Lucas
okay.
was a part of it too, though.
Mm.
Tammy Lucas became a part of Neptune. Created, I mean, production wise. I don't
Yeah.
know about the group wise, but production wise, because she was doing a lot of this, helping a lot with them too. So I guess she seen it ahead of time. What Neptune's Pharrell going
Oh,
with
they
it.
said Shane.
Shane, yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
Shane.
Yeah, it
It
said
was them
Shane.
three.
Okay.
But as far as music wise, Chad played everything.
Yeah, that's what Levi was saying. That Chad would come in with a harp and bring in different instruments
Yeah,
into the studio.
Chad was
yeah,
so
he's a musician, like
he was
that
so
type of
time with all that
musician.
stuff, man. It's like
Hmm.
I'm a I, they was way advanced for me. Like I can tell you, I thought the dudes because every time they rap, it was about birds, bees, flies, trees, butterflies, all that. So like it was, but at the same time, what you hear from them now, that's what they was doing then.
Ah.
That's what they was doing then. So it's not like that's why I say they was way too advanced for me because I didn't understand it. I knew they was talented. I knew they had the talent, but I just didn't understand it at that time. Me
Mm,
personally. Teddy
mm,
knew. Teddy knew because he kept them around. And he had them doing work.
mm.
Pharrell had well, he's got synesthesia, right? Synesthesia is when you hear sounds, uh,
Mm.
you see colors. The sounds are colors.
I
You
don't
see
know.
colors.
I don't know.
That
Yeah,
is,
I heard about that along with everybody else. I'm not, I don't know
yeah,
about it
I don't
from a
know.
first hand
But
thing.
I mean,
We never had any conversation.
it makes sense though. It makes sense because if you would have seen them at the talent shows that they was performing at, you'd be like, damn, these dudes is a little weird. But they was just ahead of their time. And
What was
I think they favorite artist was like Tribe Called Quest, Diggable Planet, stuff like that.
okay?
I've got the program for that first talent show. Just give me a second. Carry on talking. One second.
Okay,
Was
yeah.
Timberland? Was he? Because when I spoke with I can't remember his name from Shy. He said when he came to the studio back in the day, there was the Neptunes, there was Timberland, there was Missy. That before they blew up, that they were all in the studio.
Yeah, but Timberland was he wasn't like a part of the camp. Like he'd
Ah,
be around, but Timberland was his own person.
okay.
Like Pharrell, Chad, they came from that camp. Like
Yeah.
Timberland, Missy Group Sister, they all Magoo, all of them performed at the talent shows, but they wasn't they was more a part of Devontae.
Oh! Did Devontae move after you guys? Did he? Were you guys all in Virginia at the same time?
No, Devontae was never in Virginia. They went up to New York or Jersey where
Okay.
he was at.
So
So I,
this is the program
wow,
from 1992. That is what it looks like.
wow, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
To be honest with you, I don't even remember how that looked, other than just seeing it right now.
Nope.
It says,
I just remember going in that auditorium and seeing them perform. I saw a little bit of the show. I ain't watched the whole thing, but I certainly saw and remember their portion. You
Yeah,
know,
I can tell you
and
that.
they absolutely just stood out. You know,
Yeah, I can tell you, they rocked that joint, yo.
yeah,
Like
they were getting busy.
yeah, they
They were
rocked that.
getting busy.
Now, I can say as
Yo,
weird
you,
as they felt to me, they had everybody in that damn auditorium moving.
hmm
They had
yeah,
everybody
that joint was rocking.
like the standout stood out. Like they had Chance the Rapper, not the Chance the Rapper for Chicago, but Chance the Rapper for Charlotte. I mean for Virginia
For
Beach.
Virginia,
He
chance
had
to MC now. I think that's
Chance
his name.
MC,
Or
but he had to play like it was standouts. It was standouts. Virginia had talent. They have talent, but at that time they had a lot of talent.
Wow.
and there was an interesting thing on this program which I thought was interesting. It says special appearances by future recording artists: Tammy Lucas, Tony Thompson. Then it says brackets high five, Wreckx-N-Effect, the Building Children, and Blackstreet.
I
Did you
don't know
guys
who
perform?
the
Did
building
you do anything, or did you just
damn, I
attend?
remember that name, but I can't remember who that was. The building children. I remember that. Maybe Butter. Butter will probably remember exactly who that was, but I absolutely remember that name.
Yeah,
The building children.
yeah.
Damn, I remember
Yeah,
that, but I
we didn't.
can't put it together. Who?
None of us performed. We just appeared either to be there or be a judge.
You mentioned Tony Thompson.
Yeah, his name's on
Yeah,
here.
I think that's what it was with us being on there, being a judge,
Hey,
something
can y'all
like
give
that.
me? I need to. I need to. I don't want to say it
Yeah,
crazy, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
need to
yeah.
go. You know,
Wait, was Tony Thompson part of in Virginia with you guys?
For a
yeah,
moment, I think he was. I think he would
Mm,
have.
you
There's
know, if he was, we didn't have a, me and him didn't have a rapport down there. I don't really remember. Mark may be able to. Will know, especially him or even Tone. They would know
I, uh,
because I don't remember Tony. It's possible though. This because certain things do come to mind in terms of were they working on a project at a time. I remember some movement concerning his name in that space and time. So maybe I just know that we never had a rapport. Me and him
one
like
of the
that.
questions that keeps coming is how do you guys separate family and business? Because we even see, we see throughout the industry how, business and family, they don't necessarily meet. And it can almost be even harder when people that you grew up trusting, and if and money gets involved. How you personally have you, because you grew up with these guys, from your parents know each other. How were you guys able? How were you able to mature to be able to separate the two, and and make sure that it doesn't get personal?
I don't know if we did.
we didn't.
I don't know. I don't know if we made any effort to try to separate the two. I think that we just kind of kept it organic and move forward like that. You know what I mean? And maybe that at times, created certain hindrances. I'm not saying that it did. I'm saying that, there was so little thought to any attempts to separate that it could have, and we probably didn't even realize that maybe that's why it was happening. Um, but I don't recall any thought that we put into trying to separate, because even with Mark and Teddy, by the time I always say they made a full transition to Virginia as you know, transplants where, my thing was, more spotty, even having a home there. I always say I don't think I ever was in the home, more than 3 months at the time, if I was ever in it 3 months at the time.
Never.
Before I'm back in Harlem, like I was just always stuck on Harlem. Like I gotta go back. Everybody in Harlem, and so but my point is saying that. because of that, there was so little thought put into making a separation. They were big on incorporating the family. You know what I mean? Their cousins and such. Like the family was woven into the operation. So I don't think that was the culture with us, making any attempts to separate the family from the business. It's a matter of incorporating the family and figuring out how to keep this thing, keep the operation running and not get, not allow the fact that it's family to become a hindrance in any sort of way. Though, those are my thoughts.
But what about with you and Markell? I'm always fascinated by Jimmy and Terry, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, that they never signed a contract
Mhm.
in the 50 plus years they've been together. How did you guys always keep it where there was no issues? Oh, I mean, I don't know. How do you guys, listening to how you guys talk about each other, it feels as though you guys are always on the same page. But how have you guys been able to navigate that in this in an industry that's
It
cutthroat?
was tough. It was tough. It's tough, but I look at it like we friends before we business partners. Before we had money, we had each other. You know, we used to drink juice out the same juice container. If he bought a
Yeah,
pizza and
quarter water.
if he bought a pizza and I couldn't afford to get a pizza myself, we'd split it. So when we came in this to get money for us, not for Aqil or not for Markell. Uh, uh, as you get
Nah, hold
older,
up, nigga. I ain't letting you off. I ain't letting you off the hook that easy. He just said a minute ago that if the pizza and all that shit. Let me tell you something. We as kids, this nigga Mark will buy some fucking chips, and if he didn't want you to have none of them chips,
Oh, oh,
he would take the chip bag and go. No, no, no. Somehow he had the ability to sense that you were about to ask for some of his fucking chips from the corner
come on,
store. He
uh,
could be walking towards you. He could read that shit in your eyes. These niggas about to ask me for some of these chips, and I'm about to spoil it for him. He'll take that fucking chip bag. Nope, nope. Don't even ask. So when you see him do that, obviously now you ain't asking for none of the chips. I'm just saying I'm gonna throw that in there before he try to make this whole pizza shit sound all heavenly and
now
all of
come
that.
on now,
Let me
now
let me throw that in there. I'm just saying there was times that happened, and
yeah,
I want to put that in there. That just throw that in there. For comedy, for a comedy moment. These are facts too. But go ahead, as you were saying, because the,
no,
the
but
general point that you were making applies.
I mean,
yeah,
before you go, Mark, me and Namdu, I don't know if we should be mediators. Should we just let you guys go? And there's conflicting stories here, man. We don't know who to believe.
we all had our moments. Like he can't act like he ain't never go straight to the building with his bag all balled up and got upstairs and then ate his stuff.
Hey
This how we
man,
outside.
if you could get past the crowd of homies that want some of your goodies from the corner store, man, you doing good. Cause somebody gonna ask you for
No, but
Uh,
before, yeah, we were friends before it was business, man. And me personally, I refuse to let a business break up a friendship because he could go do his business on his own and make his money, but I'm gonna still be his brother.
hmm.
I'd rather be separate from the business and keep the friendship than to keep the business and lose the friendship. Yeah, and that's
them.
so
When
I
Rum
don't I don't
Yeah,
Shaker
think
blew
same
up,
same here.
even
Same
when
here.
Rum Shaker
Mhm.
blew up, and you're going triple, quadruple platinum. Does How do you guys stay grounded in the midst of all of that?
just have each
Because
other.
we grounded to begin with. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We grounded to begin with. That's my point of view. You gotta come up, you gotta be grounded before all of that stuff happen. Because if you think you're gonna ground yourself after. It's not going down like that, man. The whirlwind is gonna suck you up because
And that,
you gonna lose yourself.
you
You
got
gotta
you
have some degree of, what your parents implanted in you, imparted in you. You gotta have that to begin with. You know what I
and,
mean? I always say money is money and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna let you go, Mark. I ain't gonna keep it long. Money, it just, it just uncovers, it reveals. You'd be surprised what what poverty and lack
of having,
will
yeah,
shade.
yeah,
It'll shade things. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? You can't really see what's going on because sometimes people are just making decisions based on the circumstances that they're in, but who they really are lies beneath, and it'll cover sometimes. So when you get a little something, it may take some time for everybody to get acclimated to it. It could kind of make you feel a little, empowered. But before long, who you actually are is absolutely going to be revealed along the way. And what's happening in that moment is more of who you've always been rather than who you have turned into. You ain't just turned into that. Gene used to have a saying, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. And it's so true. Like you can't make something do something that's just not there. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's there, then something about it has always been there. And the circumstances have just arose to where it's amplified and you can see it and hear it clearer now than you could before. So those are my thoughts. So I think, a degree of grounded is important before trying to ascend to any heights. Don't let your character take you. Don't let the something take you, your talent take you where your character can't keep you, that sort of thing. That's very real. Your character got to be in tight to begin with. You got to be intact rather to begin with.
Mm.
and at the same note, you just got to have a good surrounding of people that will keep you grounded.
Yeah.
Like I said before when we was doing the interview, before we was Wreckx-N-Effect, we was part of a crew, a group of guys, not a gang, but and it was no one bigger than the next person. You had tough guys, you had hustlers, you had uh uh book smart guys, and then uh they'll tell you about yourself.
Mm.
You bugging, you
Mm.
know. Don't let that shit get to your head. Why you? I had somebody tell me, why you don't come around a lot no more? It's just a lot of shit. So it's not like we don't have a good surrounding of people that won't tell us about ourselves,
Mm.
whether it's our ladies or our friends or our family members.
Yeah.
So
So just before we go, so the building children were the Neptunes. I think that was their early
okay,
names.
yeah, I never
Oh, you
knew
don't?
of the
I'm
building.
Okay, that's what it was.
I'm not
That's
convinced.
what it was.
Is it because like the thing is like on that list it says special appearance by, then it says future recording artist. This was actually a talent show to introduce these artists, of which
Okay.
So let me ask you this: wait, before you go further, was that the first talent show?
I'm not sure. This is well,
Because
it says
if it wasn't the first, because the Neptunes had won the first one.
this
So
might
yeah,
be another one. This might be another one because this
yeah.
says this was 10th of July 1992, Friday, and then Saturday, July the 11th. So if the building
Mm.
is the Neptunes, then it must be a
I think
second
that
one.
might have been the second one.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
But there's another interesting thing on this I thought was interesting. I'll leave this. This is my last note anyway. It said executive coordinators Omar Chandler and Donna Roberts. That's great. And then it says
Hmm.
executive assistants Nicole Rembert, Denise Barrow, Linda Weathers, David Williams, sound technicians Keston Wright and Earl Thomas. That's cool, man, because they were
Yeah,
heavily responsible for Hard or
putting it
Smooth.
all
Right?
together. Yeah, putting it all together. Yeah.
Yeah, very
Mm.
cool though. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
And Omar Chandler deserves some flowers because I personally remember, may he rest in peace. Omar was coming over there talking about y'all gotta see these guys. Like he was going in
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
Neptunes. He was
Wow.
coming to that
Omar
studio
never
like
he deserved a lot of flowers for a lot of people in Virginia. Big Dog as a
Mm.
producer, the Neptunes. Uh,
Yo, he was raving. He was raving about them, man. He was raving about, in particularly the Neptunes. Were for me, Mark heard, him raving about Bink as well.
yeah,
But yeah, man, Omar was the ones that was kept on coming to that studio, and I'm sure Tammy had her things to say about them as well. But I'm talking about just my experience of hearing about this
you saying
multiple
that,
times
Aqil,
with.
you right. Omar was the one. Tammy just joined the group, but Omar was the one that
Okay.
had, had
Yeah,
had.
Omar was like he was going in about them. He the one that made it. He the one that built up the curiosity. Who are these kids, man? That this guy
Yeah,
Omar was just going in about these guys. You got to come see him. The Neptune. He was going in,
Wow.
and that's for me. I know that's what built up the interest to
Wow.
even attend the talent show.
My goodness. Wow, guys, you guys have been rock stars. Another 3 hours tonight. You've accumulated more than you've accumulated over 12 hours. So
Yeah.
we're totally grateful, and you went through a whole lot of questions, which we didn't expect. Um, yes, it's. I guess questions about Not a Butter. Is he ever? Is he still gonna? Is he still rapping or writing stuff or?
Hey, I'm working on him. I'm working on him. I'm
hey,
trying to get him to.
yeah,
I'm
but
trying to get him. In fact, I owe Markell. He called me the other day and had some snide remarks he leaves on these voice messages, cracking jokes about one thing or another concerning music, and that's going to be my segue into, me letting him know about himself, and he gotta do that. He got to do
yeah,
that because he's very talented.
Nut is a youth mentor. Yeah,
Okay.
so he do a lot of speaking around New York, the Bronx,
Wow.
Brooklyn, Harlem. Talking to a lot of inner city kids. So, uh, uh, I, maybe he found his calling.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and not to say that he could, because he's highly talented.
Yeah.
Nut
Yeah.
is, Nut is very talented, but maybe
Yeah.
that's just what he wanted. Because I asked him about it before. Uh, he's he ain't say he ain't get hype about it, but he wasn't saying that that's something he would want to do either.
Yeah. It takes thick skin to be in this industry.
Yeah,
And I can appreciate the fact that Markel, you've sort of like, yeah, I've done my time and and stuff like that. It takes a lot to be in this industry. It's a cutthroat.
yeah,
FPJ.
yeah.
Yeah. My favorite quote from anybody that's written anything, and my also my biggest takeaway. My biggest takeaway is your driving story to Mount Vernon. What the hell does that story? That's gonna be running through my head tomorrow.
Uptown Saturday Night, the
But
Dukes of Harlem.
Dukes of Harlem, and my
Yeah,
favorite.
Hey,
yo, that Dukes of
another
Harlem
story
shit is
I
dumb
can tell
funny.
you. I was going to Teddy had just got an Acura Integra, right? I guess it
Oh
was the
yeah, that's another story. Yeah, that's a yeah,
it
yeah.
was a special
Tell
edition
him
one.
about that.
Yeah. So him and Gene was going to a meeting. They decided to ride in one car, but they didn't want to park the car in the garage because he didn't want to get no damage in the garage. But they didn't want to park on the street, so they took me with them to sit in the car while they go up in the meeting. So I'm sitting in the car. 10 minutes pass, 15 minutes pass, 20 minutes pass. We got to the 30-minute mark. I said, "Hell, man, shit." They got me sitting in this car like crazy. So I decide, hell, they in the meeting. It seems like they're gonna be in there a while. I'm gonna just drive back uptown. No license. I think I was 16. No license or nothing. So I drive back uptown. I'm going uptown on I think Lexington go downtown. So it had to be
Mhm.
third Avenue or one of them. First Avenue, one of them. So I'm heading back uptown. I get to 126th Street. Now 126th Street go crosstown to the east side. I'm going across the opposite way to the west side on 126th Street, so I'm going up the wrong way of the street. It's a cop sitting right there at the corner. He see me make the turn. He throw on the lights. I get scared. A chase ensued. So they chasing me through Harlem. He's chasing me through Harlem. He called for backup. So it had to be like 10 cop cars chasing me through Harlem, East Side, all the East Side. So I'm going downtown on Park Avenue, uptown on Fifth Avenue, zigzagging. I got away, but the car is so unique because it's a special edition, Acura Integra, everything all white. I parked the car, sit on the stoop, and they was like they see the car, they stopped the car, they stopped by the car. They said, "Who car is this?" Nobody answered. If nobody tell me who car this is, I'm towing the car. They towed the car. I mean, I said it was me. They towed the car anyway. Long story short, I got 28 tickets.
Oh,
Like, yeah, running red lights.
Nah, he ran 13 red lights.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
motherfucker ran 13 red lights in the in
yeah.
the in the, in the cop chase. Go ahead, tell the rest. Told you this nigga he a beast behind that wheel.
Yeah, yeah. About 13 red lights. Up and down the wrong way about 14, about 10 times. So it was a bunch of tickets. I went down. I didn't go to. I went to the precinct. I didn't go downtown. I just went to the precinct. They called my mama. Teddy calling around trying to figure out where the hell I'm at with his car, not knowing that his car got towed to the precinct. My mama calls Teddy, tell him I'm at the precinct. I need to go. He need to go get her baby. So long story short, he came and got me. My mama went down there. They bailed me out. But matter of fact, they didn't even have to bail me out. They let me go because it was so funny and hilarious to them.
Oh wow, that they couldn't catch you.
Yeah, they gave me all those tickets though. Gave me all those tickets. But they got wiped away, man. I don't know what Gene and Teddy did, but they got wiped away.
Oh
But
my.
it was a nerve. When you look back at it, it's fun. It was fun and it was funny. But when it was happening, I was scared and I didn't know what to do. Like the cop, all he said was all you had to do was stop and say, what the situation was. They would have just gave me a ticket and let me. New York, they just gonna give you a ticket and let you go about your business. They don't want to do a lot of paperwork. So I could have just got the ticket and went back downtown.
You thought it was LA, right? You thought this was LA.
Yeah,
Helicopters, police chase.
not that time. But it's about 10, 15 police cars chasing me through Harlem.
but that story just solidifies my favorite comment today. My favorite comment was a guy called Dwayne Adams, and he said Markell is Baby Driver. So I don't know if you know the film Baby Driver. Baby Driver is
Nah, I gotta see that.
Baby Driver is like this ninja driver. He's a getaway driver. Just gets away with all this shit. And Markell,
Wow.
that is a gangster comment, man.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta see that, Dwayne. I gotta see that film. I gotta pull that up.
Baby
That's the
Driver,
name of it?
brilliant.
Yeah, Baby Driver.
I gotta okay, I'm gonna pull that. I gotta pull that up. I never saw that.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, next year's 35th anniversary of Hardest Move. It would be interesting if you guys are going to do anything to commemorate that album. Maybe some shows, maybe some new releases and stuff like that.
We
But
got
you got
we got to draw up some interest in it. I would love to do it though. I would love to do that. I think we should have did it on the 25th. But it's never late than never. It's better late than never. Uh, 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 I think we should.
I
I would
think
love.
a lot of people have asked for. I mean, a lot of fans that love this album, the Hard or Smooth album. They've said if you could have like a double disc. We talked about this last time. I think a double disc or something with like maybe unreleased material or mixes on there, like a really nicely curated double CD package and maybe a vinyl package. I know other artists have done that, like where they have like anniversary editions and they just
Yeah. I see that. I see that a lot. I see that a lot. Matter of fact, Michael Jackson did it a couple of times.
yeah. So it's a good idea, and
Yeah.
I like records, so I'm gonna get a couple of copies. So there you go. You got to buy it for two. So yeah, we're good to go, man. It's
Well, we got a show. We got a show in Indiana.
I was gonna come, man. I was gonna come. I was trying to
So
come.
what's stopping you?
There's so much stuff going on here, man.
Okay.
But I'd
Say
love
less.
to come out of there.
Yeah, we could sit down. We're gonna sit down and talk about some things. We talked before. I don't know. Did Teddy tell you about coming to Dallas to rehearse? Aqil?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, because so we'll sit down and talk. I said, ain't nothing going. It don't hurt to have a conversation about it.
Yeah, definitely. 35 years and stuff, and getting, because there's so much on the table. Everyone's touring these days and stuff like that, and so
Yeah.
definitely, it'd definitely be good to see you guys out there. Wow. So we want to thank you guys. You guys have made a lot of people happy by taking this time answering those questions. Lots of different questions. I didn't even talk about Father MC and 69. He talks about when he came down to record it, that you guys were out there rolling dice when he came out and stuff. And it's yeah.
Father MC is a mature guy, man. Yeah, and I mean that in a respectful way, man. That dude remind me of an uncle. He was always a grown up. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he carry himself, and I like that about him, man. I really like that about him. For some people, it seemed like he coming across as being conceited or something, like he's all that. He was just a very mature person, man.
Yeah, handling his business. Yeah, he was my
Yeah.
first guest on the show.
Oh, really?
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Very first
Nice.
guest. He
Yeah.
launched the whole thing. Yeah, he was the first person. So always shout out to him.
And Namdi, I know we're trying to wrap up, and we will.
Yeah,
I just
go ahead,
want
Reed.
I just want to share another quote. So Jack Swagger, he's just said, as part of the expanded edition, you should include a Markell racing jacket.
They called him Markell Hamilton.
Hey, the funny thing about
Markell Hamilton.
growing up in New York, it's a lot of people that drive that way in New York. I just got lucky and survived, sticky situations.
Nah. There's a lot of people that drive the way you talking about, but driving fast and driving reckless and driving skilled is different, man. It's different. There's a lot of people that do a lot of reckless things, but see, he can't see it. He can't see it from his point of view because it's in him. He's it. So he can't see himself. He can't see the difference that he has behind that wheel versus somebody else that's just, I know a lot of people that, you're pretty proficient behind the wheel. You're nice. You get it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that other thing, that X factor. The same way that there's X factors with talent, there's an X factor behind that wheel that's different, that you pick up on over time of being in the car with different people. I've been in the car with him. I've been in the car with Teddy. Obviously just coming up and all the way through over the years, and obviously with a host of other people. I know a lot of talented drivers. But there's some people that Lamar is very talented too.
Yeah,
Parlay taught me how to drive. He's exceptional as well. But there's something different. There's something. Put it like this: if you're in a situation where you got to run 13 red lights, you want to be with the one that somehow knows not to have any accidents along the way. And their
Yeah, man.
instincts are not going to allow them to have any accidents along the way. Or if you in a situation where you got to get away from the shooters or whatever because your car's under assault, you want to be with the one that somehow has the instinct to make the right decision that's going to get the shooters off of you. You know what I mean? And that thing is what I'm talking about. It's a thing that you just know it. And
Yeah.
that's the difference. You know what I mean? So that's,
Yeah, we
those are
definitely
my
would have
thoughts.
been a headline, a news headline.
Are you serious?
We definitely would have been a news headline. But
I remember Stanley Brown saying it. He remembered racing cars with Teddy and back in the day, and I just didn't think anything of it. But now you've brought this up. So Stanley Brown, the producer, was talking about,
yeah,
yeah, we
yeah,
used to be kids racing cars, and he was saying that Teddy, when you guys had moved from St. Nick's and Teddy had moved to another place, that yeah, there was just racing cars. So
Yeah, Teddy loved racing. That was one of his things. He'd taunt Mark in a minute. Them two, they'll get into it on the road
yeah.
in a minute. You give them the opportunity, and Teddy's gonna be up for the challenge. You
Oh, we
try
did
to
it like
race him.
we'll leave the studio and go home and wind up, you know, not racing, but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's their
yeah,
thing.
that's something we got. Like, our dad used to take us to South Carolina in the 70s and 80s, right? And we ain't buying no plane tickets, so we had to drive. So, I see my dad smoking a cigarette on the car, he just leaning back and he whipping it. Now, mind you, those cars back then was like it's like
yeah,
driving a tank.
yeah.
So when you just
Mm,
weaving, and then when you get down there, you see other people that drive like that. My uncles and cousins, all of them driving dual buggies
hmm
and all that stuff. So, uh, I don't know. That's just something I just probably got naturally. Like
I
I don't
if
know.
if I was there's two places I think where the driving is just absolutely nuts. One is Moscow, like in that the drivers there have like there's something's not right there, man, and that's everybody on the road. And the other place is Egypt, and you've just
Oh
Cairo.
my god! I was just about to say
You've
Egypt
just
is
come from
crazy.
there, man. Cairo is nuts, man.
What I don't even know why
I've
they put
never
lines.
been. Wow.
I don't know why they put lines on the highway.
No, there's no point. There's no point. What's the point of
Nobody
lines,
follow
man?
those. Like nobody
They're just
stay in
gonna saddle
between
those
the
lines. They
lines,
don't care, man.
and they drive on the shoulder
They
like
don't care.
it's a lane.
Wow.
That's
You will
Yeah.
be in the car. You'll be in the car clutching. You like pushing the brake like you behind the wheel. Like slow down.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody has somewhere to go with nowhere to go.
No way. Yeah. Italy's a bad place as well. If you go to
yeah.
Italy,
Right.
and stuff.
It's a great experience though. It's
Oh
Cairo
goodness.
is a special place. I
Yes.
want to go back.
Oh
So,
man. Oh, we've kept you guys for 3.5 hours, so we appreciate it.
hey, just
Yeah.
let me thank everybody
Oh yeah.
that came on. It was a great experience.
hmm
I really appreciate y'all coming out to uh to listen to what we have to say. I'm sorry we didn't get to answer every question, but I
No, you
hope
did.
what we did answer, satisfied you what you had what you was thinking of us or what you want to hear from us. And if it's more, I'm more than welcome to do it again. So,
Yeah.
Likewise, you are all appreciated. Thank you very much for the questions, the thoughtfulness, and all of your opinions about, your feedback on how you feel about things along the way and all of that. You appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you as well, Namdi and VJ, for
yes. And
y'all.
I
You
love my
know?
t-shirt. Now I can wear this on vacation.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of mine. I'm gonna find mine. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
It's there. It's there. Somewhere's got to be.
Yeah, no, everyone appreciates you guys, and you guys have lots of fans who can't wait to see you guys hit the stage. You know, it's yeah, you addressed rap's new generation. You've addressed a lot of stuff, but we just want to be able to celebrate you guys, and it's a privilege that you guys have come back together on live to talk to us and talk to your many fans. And you can see there's lots of love for you guys out there, and so yeah, don't keep the fans waiting. You know, so hopefully 2027 is going to be a big year for you guys. It's, yeah, no shame of even starting it this year. So we can't wait to see clips of you guys out. Is it Indianapolis or Ohio?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Okay, yeah. Let's see how that goes and further stuff.
And from me, just thank you guys for joining. It's so appreciated. You are so valued.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, like, in front of everybody that's here and whoever watches this, whenever they watch it, your music means a lot to people. And when you create something that's meaningful, it's a meaningful contribution to life. It means so much. It's a song, it's an album, whatever it is. It matters. And Aqil, when you do watch Baby Driver, you better call me. I want your review. I want to know what you
Yeah.
And I want to know, is that boy as good as our boy here? I just want to know, man.
Yeah.
Because he's good, but nuts. Markell sounds like a.
How long Baby Driver now? Didn't that just come out recently?
10 years ago. 10 years.
Okay, that's not the same movie that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of a movie that they hired.
2017.
It may be
2017.
okay.
It had Jamie Foxx in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had Jamie Foxx in it. Yeah, I think it was a heist movie, and Big Boy and Killer Mike were in it as well.
I don't know that.
They had small roles, but yeah, Baby Driver 2017. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we appreciate you guys, and yeah, good luck at the show. Look at Jack Swagger saying, yeah, we appreciate you guys and love your music, and thanks for everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you again. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Salute, y'all.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us for even loving us, on which I did miss you with
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for me, but just for me,
No. Okay, you okay?
They don't understand what Joseph Boys winning all spirits.
Play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.